The mics are live. Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone. Hi, Spike.
Hey.
What's up?
Welcome.
Dude, we're just max chilling. All right.
We are.
They had to give me a trophy, sorry.
Big John was here, so I took this seat.
Oh, wow.
Because it was just, I could fall asleep
super
right now.
comfy.
It is.
Yeah, we just saw Big John upstairs. What a dude.
We were doing some advanced glide-on tech.
Ooh, the advanced one?
Yeah. He's going to do all of Sand 2 as glide-on.
Dude, that's probably slow.
A little bit.
I feel like he can't ground pound. But anyways.
All right, well, I'm Kerbis. That's Spike. That's
Hi.
Kuiper.
Hi, everybody.
It's going to be a darker side run. So I'm ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo.
Woo! Hell
All right.
yeah.
So, darker side,
The best category.
the best category. So,
Objectively.
in this game, once you beat it, there are 2 bonus kingdoms you can unlock. The first one you unlock after collecting 250 total moons, and that's called the dark side of the moon. The second one you unlock after 500 moons, and that's the darker side of the moon.
And if you get all 880 moons,
You
there
get nothing.
isn't a darkest side of the moon.
There is also not a 1,000th moon that
A 1,000th.
the darkest side.
The other 119 moons are also infinite shop moons, you know. But anyway, so now we actually get to start the run. Kerbis is going to be doing a ton of movement tech all throughout the run. Obviously, you come to expect any 3D Mario 64, Sunshine, any of these games, tons of movement tech all over the place. Big thing is he's doing in his best blue hedgehog impersonation right here, just rolling around all the way he can. Rolling is the fastest as long as you're dealing with basically flat ground. So he'll be implementing that as much as he can and canceling out of it and doing different moves, whether he needs height for a jump or he needs to dive for something, whatever it might be.
And one of the more demanding things about this run is when you see Kerbis doing all of this rolling and a lot of the cap throws that you'll see later on, that's all motion controls.
Yes.
So for the next 3.5 hours, Kerbis will be getting the hardest forearm workout you could possibly get.
He's right here doing actually some tech with the frog that's called vectoring. You're actually going to see that with even Mario himself in a lot of instances in this run, where you just, if you're from really high up in the air and then you kind of turn at a diagonal to the camera, you actually gain a lot of velocity falling down. So
We'll see it really abused in about an hour and a half in the Moon Kingdom.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
The speed you're able to get is actually really impressive. And a really cool strat there to beat Topper in about 5 seconds.
yeah,
So
it's one of those. The first day we ran this. Kerbis, did you start running this day one?
Not day 1, but I'd say within a week or 2 after the game came out.
You were basically you were
Pretty
the
much day one.
5,000th person who started speedrunning this
yeah,
game at that
exactly.
point.
I might have been the 8,000th.
Yeah,
I was like week 2.
It's ridiculous how many people. We just had the 2-year anniversary of this. Right,
Yeah,
of this game,
today exactly is the 2-year anniversary of this game's release.
right? Had a good 30 or 40 people race for it, so it was pretty sick. That was Cap Kingdom. That was the first kingdom. And anyone might wonder, again, the main goal of this category, we're going to be trying to collect 500 power moons.
And we
so
still
can-
don't have any.
Yeah,
No.
there are actually none that spawn in Cap Kingdom. Basically, imagine as you get certain story moons in each kingdom and you just do stuff even outside of the kingdom, it puts the kingdoms in different states. So now he's in Cascade Kingdom, where we're going to be picking up our first power moon, which is appropriately titled Our First Power Moon.
You won't know that. I think he's playing in Japanese. You're playing in Japanese, aren't you?
I sure am.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
The time save that you get for playing on Japanese in this category specifically is actually like pretty substantial. I think it's.
Is it like?
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been timed, but probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, 40 seconds,
Yeah.
I would guess.
Yeah, it's about 13 seconds. I want to say on English, in any percent, and then you just, you throw up all those other text boxes you're gonna be running into. Japanese as it is in a lot of games, just a more compact, simpler language character-wise.
It does skip one whole text box actually coming out of this kingdom, so that's all I ever say to anybody's like, why do you play in Japanese? It skips one text box.
Yeah,
That's all
it's
I
huge.
say. It's just one huge time save of one text box.
By the way, shouts to the fact that you could capture and become a freaking T-Rex in this game.
A T-Rex with a mustache. I might
And a
add.
T-Rex that gives you enough height to where you can skip the rest of the kingdom and come right up to the boss.
Yeah, he's got hops.
And
Right. Yeah.
I was going to say, really, that's an actually real easy strat, honestly. It may look, I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that trampoline was there. You could easily find that casually, honestly.
Dude,
if you accidentally step on
I'm
it.
convinced Nintendo knew that. That's why that trampoline is there.
Yeah.
That is 1,000,000% why that trampoline is there. They knew. Also, really cool start right there by Kerbis, because anything that has most things in this game you can capture and then embody them. But what he did there was, because it has a hat on top, you have to first knock it out. So he put Cappy and Mario on either side of the golden chain chomp, and then backflipped onto it, timing it at its full extent, then having Cappy knock the cap off, then recapturing it. Really cool strat, and because of that, he didn't really have to move around with Mama Brutal at all, saving a bunch of time. So really well executed Fat right there.
And we're picking up the pace a little bit. That gave us 3 power moons for 1. So, and the pace will pick up quite significantly once we get about an hour and a half into the run.
Yeah.
Once we get to the post game, I'll be getting moons left and right every few seconds, pretty much.
Yeah, the routing for this category, you might see here, we're just going to be picking up, if you're familiar with the any % run of this game, as thousands of you are, because you ran it.
Gonna roll through a chain chomp right here.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's something, because sometimes he can actually, it looks like he went under it. You can actually go right through it. I think it's just
Yeah.
because the camera's not loading him on screen.
Yeah, in this game, anytime something is not on the camera, it basically doesn't exist. So if you roll under the chain chomp right as it's getting loaded onto the screen, it can't damage you.
Also including moons as well. If you
Yes.
the moon is not on camera, it does not exist.
Yeah,
So
it can very much work not in your favor.
yes.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple times in this run where Kerbis is going to intentionally manipulate the camera just so a moon is fully spawned on screen. Because even though you can kind of see it, it ain't there. So now we're moving on to the next kingdom. This is really the first big hunk of kingdom that we're going to be messing with, the Sand Kingdom. Kind of the first kingdom that was really shown off in this game, and it is massive. I think in total for the entire game, it's got 89 moons in it. Kerbis is going to be picking up a good, I think 60 or so in the entirety of the run. Kind of the structure of Darker Side. Yo, nice fast text boxes there.
Like the
Action
random
guide
1
skip.
second you can save there if you mash correctly.
We don't know what it's from.
No, we don't.
But
I'm assuming it's like the phases of the moon determine it.
yeah, that it literally
Something
feels like sometimes,
obnoxious.
even the best runners. So the basic structure of this category is kind of imagine Kerbis is going to be going through and for the most part bringing peace to every kingdom. And when I say bring peace to it, he'll be basically collecting all the main story moons, because that will be putting each of the kingdoms into a better state. Let's see if he can still catch this bird. Oh, tried. Okay, I was able to at least catch the bird right there. Oh, great improv moves, honestly. So the reason why Super Mario Odyssey is a top 10 speed game of all time is because of stuff like that. When you get really good at the game, unlike me, you can improv all over the place really well, know how to back stuff up. Because once that bird's gone, it would take a while for him to back it up.
The strat you just saw right there, that tech is called a buffered spin pound.
Yes.
We haven't seen Kerbis do a couple of them. We've only seen me, I think, do 2 so far. But basically what's happening there is when you come out of dives as Mario, also coming out of cutscene, just saw him do another one there, coming out of that moon cutscene, you can buffer a spin so Mario will start to spin in place. You can then immediately jump up, immediately ground pound and do a shake, and it will simulate as if you ground pounded and then shook, which is the max speed roll that you can get. So it's a really, really fast way to get to max speed on Mario.
Yeah, if you do it at home, you can do just a single jump up the air, ground pound, and then roll, and you'll have that max speed. But by doing the spin pounds, buffering them like that, instead of this long jump up in the air, turn around, and then ground pound, I say long, they're still relatively fast. But you say over the course of a 3+ hour long run, you're saving so much time every time you do a spin pound.
How'd you know the answer to that? It was in Japanese.
Right?
You're a legend. That's amazing.
There's actually a number of Sphinxes in this game. That's the only one of those he'll be collecting in the run. There will be technically another Sphinx moon, but we're not talking to the Sphinx.
Oh, no. We're going to get that moon in a very interesting way.
Different way. A trick that you can do at home, I promise you.
And coming up next is going to be the hardest thing in the run, pretty
All right,
much.
I'm on standby. All right.
And that's not
No,
a joke.
I believe you. I believe in you.
You can do
Yeah,
it.
this is the... normally you have to do 2 other story moons here, but instead... we're going to try to go through this phase. Now, to note, if it was in English, Cappy would say to you,
Very nice.
You can't brute force that. But as we just saw, we just brute forced it.
So a fun thing that Nintendo did a little bit after release, I want to say it was a couple months after release, there were a couple clips found very similar to that one. That's the Inverted Pyramid Skipper IP clip. There were a couple of them that you're going to see in the run, and a lot of them were pretty easy. So what Nintendo decided to do was, instead of just patching them out, they were like, you know what? Let's just make them really hard.
Yes, it was
supposed to just getting rid of them completely.
I think they tried to patch them out and just failed.
I remember that was actually the first day I came in your stream, Kerbis. That was the day we met, in a way. I came in, I was like, so is this even possible anymore? And you were just doing it for like hours.
I was running my head into that wall for like 15 minutes before I got it once.
And we're thinking like, oh no, dude, Darker Side's dead. Because if he doesn't do that, this is basically skipping us to like halfway through the story of this kingdom. Normally there's 2 other slower story moons that you would have to collect in order to get that door opened. But instead we just completely skip over that. The second of those moons we're never going to go back and collect.
Yeah, in general, story moons are just really slow, but there's a very good reason we actually get the majority of them that we can't skip. We get all of them. And that's because in every kingdom there is a little silver block that once you beat the game, if you've obtained peace in that kingdom, which basically means getting all the story moons, then you can break open that block and it'll essentially double the moon count in the kingdom. It'll spawn a bunch of new moons in, and those moons tend to be very fast.
Yeah, and it's actually required. Some people wonder, like, oh, if you could just go through the whole game and just get, say, like the first 500 moons, or not have to worry about getting all these long story moons, would it be worth it? I believe you guys have created a category, all moons, no post-game.
Yeah.
And I don't believe you can even get 500 power moons.
You can't.
What is the number for the...
It's like 400 something
400?
you can get. Yeah.
It's 462. And there's technically 464 that are possible to get, but 462 is like the intended number.
Oh, is it a couple of like the painting jumps?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the ones in Snow and Seaside.
Yeah, where it's like, you can do them.
If you really want to...
80% actually gets the snow one.
Yeah, the Seaside one actually is pretty
Oh, they
easy
get
to
both.
do. Not the Seaside one.
Oh, Seaside. I was thinking Lake.
Yeah. No. But yeah, the Seaside one is pretty easy to do. You just got to take a gush in and hit a checkpoint to refill your water. Anyone can do that. But the Snow one's actually a really tricky jump that's kind of like a high-level 80% strat.
That was a boss, by the way.
That was Harriet.
That was a boss.
Yep. So one thing I'll say about the boss fights, because you kind of gloss over them in the speedrun, just whatever, we're doing our thing. As is the case with a lot of platforming bosses, you jump on their head 3 times. But what makes them, I think, really cool for the speedrun here is Nintendo found a way to make a perfectly good casual boss while also allowing there to be ways to speed them up. Yeah. So almost all bosses in this game, there's a way to end their invincibility phase where you're just standard waiting to hit them on the head. So right there, with skill and knowledge, Kerbis was able to knock the bombs back up into Harriet in her invincibility phase and end that. Right here we have Jaxie. He's a real bro. We like riding around on him, but not right now.
We'll be coming back here a little bit later and taking him for a pretty decent ride. We're actually going to be getting 3 moons in quick succession if Kerbis can time it correctly, without getting off the back of Jaxie.
Oh.
Very nice slots there.
Nice fast strat. A pretty common strat you can use that's relatively easy to do is you actually hold Cappy up and to the left right there, and then just hold him there and release him. Nice up throw. Up throws are such swag strats.
All right, so this moon at the top of the tower is supposed to be the first story moon that you get in this kingdom. So since we already got the moon that comes after it, it kind of skips the cutscene that we normally play here. There would be a whole cutscene panning over to the left, which it's going to do, but it'd be longer and it'd show you where you need to go next, but we're not going to go over there, and it is faster to do it this way. So
yeah, over on that island, the Moai habitat is where you would normally get the second story moon that would then open the door. But I think I remember timing it back when we were initially routing this. It's like a 75-second moon because you would have to go over there, and there's nothing else on that island. Generally, the moons that are going to be in this route are going to be in like groups together. Supposed to go into an area just for one.
We actually will go over to that area later, but even with going over to that area, that moon is still way
We're still not getting that moon. Also, you're seeing Kerbis pull out some cool tech here, just a mechanic in the game that happens to save time all over the place. He actually just taught me how to do it today after 2 years of running this game. Those little spin throws you're seeing all over the place. Although I'll shut up right now because this is a swag strat. Drop it out, knock off the cap, and bounce back and capture the bullet
And
bill.
don't miss this platform. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Oh, I did that the other day. It was very sad.
Missing that platform is ultimate feels bad, especially when you get the trick with the bullet bill there. If you're too wide on your turn, you can actually just miss that platform completely, and there is no way back up.
No.
So you're taking the death and starting over.
I hope you guys liked that strat because we got another one coming up. Also, that is a common thing right there. You see, the difference between ground pounding and diving is like a few frames in this game. So if you ever see that, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to then be able to go back and get an extra shake. Oh. Oh my God. You meant to do that. No, you absolutely didn't.
He did. That was.
I'm really surprised that first up throw didn't work.
Yeah, I thought it's a little bit, it can be definitely finicky. You'll see a lot of runners complain about Cappy in this game sometimes.
I was going to say, as we're in a boss fight, believe it or not, Cappy is actually the hardest boss.
The final boss of the game.
He's the final boss in the game. There are times where he seems to have a mind of his own, where he wants to go in some random direction, even though he's supposed to home in on enemies.
Yeah.
You up throw and he side throws. Sometimes Cappy just likes to troll the runner as you're going through here, but
Yeah, the thing that happens to me a lot there is instead of being an up throw, I'll get a spin throw.
Yeah.
Which just means you're going to die. But thankfully there, I got the up throw and missed it, so I could up throw again, and usually you can back that up just fine.
Yeah, it's important to keep in mind, once again, as Kuiper was talking about earlier, a lot of this is with motion controls. A lot of it is not optional, like you can do it with buttons. There's so much of this game that you have to do with motion controls.
Especially speedrunning.
speedrun, it's almost basically necessary. It doesn't matter what category you run. You could complete the game without doing any motion controls at all, that's a good boss fight, by the way.
Yeah, nice Olmecs down.
That's right.
Legends of the Hidden Temple boss.
Yeah, you can do pretty much everything in this game without motion controls. It's just going to be a lot slower.
Can you get the Eastern Pillar?
You can, actually.
Okay, I actually never knew.
Yeah.
I thought you could not 100% this game without motion controls.
It's really tight, but you can do it.
You have to, like, fully bait him over. We'll talk about that moon in a couple hours or so.
Yeah.
That was one of the first moons where he actually manipulated the camera facing it straight up in the air so that he could load that multi-moon on screen a little sooner.
Yeah, otherwise it won't be tangible and you'll kind of be floating in the air and not grabbing it until like a second later.
So we're done right now with Sand 1. Almost all the kingdoms in this game we're going to be coming back to a second time after we beat the 90% portion of the game. But one other thing to do here, we're actually going to be talking to our buddy right here, the taxi dude. He actually goes on this cute little journey all over the world. And once you bring peace to kingdoms, he'll then go to another kingdom, so on and so forth. We get, I believe, 5 moons from him.
Yes.
Yeah,
1, 2,
like
3, 4. Yeah, we get 5 moons from him. We get all but the last one. He actually comes all the way back to Sand.
You at least send him back
Yes,
home.
that's always what I say is we send him home.
Yeah, we may not see him again, but we do get him off the moon at the eventually end of the run, back to Sand Kingdom, so he gets to complete his journey. So
Kerbis doing some important routing right here.
Very important. Go to Wooded first. There's 2 points in the game where you have a choice to pick from 2 kingdoms, and you'll go to one and then you'll go to the other one right after, so you think maybe not such a big deal, but going to Wooded here actually saves 3 seconds for really silly reasons.
Yeah, as we go through, we'll kind of get to them. We'll talk about hint arts in a little bit, but it will actually change the order of kingdoms in the late part of the run. And now everyone's favorite part of this game, and probably confused a lot of people that said, oh, I'm dead. Wait, what?
Wait, what? Excuse me?
That's a load screen. Oh, the deep woods.
Now it's really frightening and cold, and I'm scared.
I was about to say, and there might be a big old monster down here. He's not really a monster.
I mean, you saw him a little bit earlier.
This
one's really mad, though.
Yeah,
this
that
one's
one was
upset.
super docile. This one, though, he wears a little hat, and he's quite angry. But, yeah, coming down here, picking up 5 quick moons while we're here.
And that's an interesting thing about Darker Side, at least when I first started watching the runs, was I've always been an any % runner, and obviously falling into the to the deep woods in any %, you're resetting.
Yeah, that run over.
Right, and you would never think that these moons, especially because you can't warp out of the deep woods, you think, oh, I'm never going to go down there to get moons in the speed run, right? But no, these 5 moons that Kerbis is getting are actually pretty fast moons when you consider all of the moons we're going to be getting in the kingdom. And I love that strat they're throwing the big acorn at the T-Rex's head to knock him out.
Dude, I love your your mental fortitude to call it an acorn.
It's an acorn.
There's going to be plenty of nuts all over this kingdom. We're going to bust like 15 nuts while we're here. So, Yeah, that was a rock, though. The T-Rex can just... Breaking rocks in this game the first time you do it when you play casually. Yeah, you're just like hitting it for like a minute. Or you can just have a T-Rex chomp it open and pick up the moon with its back part of its butt, basically.
You can also break a rock on another rock.
Yeah, that is the common casual strat. Or the common speedrun strat. That was like day one tech. We were like, what?
I can't believe you could
We
do
just
that.
saved a minute. Yeah, here's the intended usage, I guess, for the acorns. Being able to grow a little beanstalk. Because what's unique about the Wooded Kingdom, about the deep woods, is you can't warp out of here.
Yes.
We haven't done it yet in this run, but any checkpoint you pick up, Kerbis is going to need 40 of them throughout the game, but he also wants to grab a bunch of them just so he can warp to them and make for really optimal routing throughout our revisits to the kingdom primarily.
Here's one of the first nuts that Spike was talking about.
That's our first nut busted of the run, and we'll break like 4 more before we leave here. Also, shouts to Uproots, that capture right there. That's actually probably like a top 5 capture in this game. It's pretty cool how quickly you can gain some height. All right, is he going to go for it?
Oh, he's going for it.
All right, if this works.
Nope.
Shigeru Miyamoto wins again.
It's another one of those clips that we found. You can actually clip through the wall right there behind that nut after you've broken it, and it leads to a really cool little out-of-bounds trick where you can actually get a moon that's behind a breakable wall that you're supposed to shoot with a tank. You can just clip right through, get it up from underneath, but Miyamoto wins today. We can't get that clip.
Thankfully here in Darker Side, I believe it saves about 6 seconds. You would just, that moon he just got right there, busting his second nut of the run. You would basically just clip up to there and not have to use the uproot to get up. So that back there was our first story moon. While it's actually spawning, Kerbis is going to come around and bust his third nut of the run. Nut at the dead end. And now he's going to try to go for a cool strat where he's actually going to get a roll off of this ramp, giving him just that little bit of P speed.
It's very easy if you come off that little ramp there at the wrong angle. Mario will very barely be able to like kind of collect himself, and you can throw Cappy and get back onto that ledge right there. But if you take it at too far of a steep of an angle, or not enough of an angle, you'll roll right off and right back into the abyss down there. There is no deep woods to save you over there. So
scary strat here. Let's see, all right, setting
We'll
back up.
get it.
This is a very difficult strat. Going for that roll cancel, off the triple jump, off the railing. Gonna throw it one more time. Oh!
That was
I
barely.
peed myself 4 times.
I always call that jump the PYP jump. I don't call it Flower Road Skip because the first time I ever got it, I had someone ask me, what do you think's going through Mario's mind as he's doing that jump? Like, he's probably peeing his pants.
Yeah,
So
right there.
The pee your pants
The
jump.
the
There.
PYP.
Yeah, the
It's pretty
PYP
good.
jump.
Listen,
So
this ain't Mario's first rodeo. He jumped over some gaps in his day.
I've seen this dude go through a big clock and Rainbow Ride. All the secrets in Sunshine. But yeah, that one a cool combination of a lot of techs where he goes immediately into that roll, giving himself top speed, and then doing the roll cancel, keeping it all into a separate direction, and then the triple jump into the cap dive, barely able to make that platform and get up to bust his 4th nut and now the 5th nut of the run. We will keep count.
And we're going to see another cool little boss strat here. Spike brought up earlier the quick kills on these bosses. Spirit here is going to be jumping into his hat, and otherwise, you can jump right on top of him there and stop him. Otherwise, he goes all over the arena, and he's really hard to stop. But really cool fast strat here. And picking up these coins, we will need
1,000 coins.
1,000 coins for this run.
Yeah, every category of this game obviously needs a different amount of coins. If you're doing all moons, you need 10,000. Here, though, we only need a comfortable 1,000. That's actually relatively trivial for Kerbis to pick up throughout the run.
Yeah, and that's because there's an achievement moon. There's a bunch of achievement moons we're going to get at the end where basically anything from gathering a certain amount of checkpoints, getting a certain number of coins, getting a certain number of moons from
Captain
birds.
Toad moons,
Yeah,
Peach
there's
moons.
all kinds of things. So we're going to get 31 of those achievement moons. That's all routed into the overall 500.
Yeah, so keep that in mind when we get near the end. It might seem like, oh, are they really on pace for 500 moons? He's going to get 31 of them in about 4 minutes at the end. And again, that was just all routed in. Sometimes if a couple of moons maybe were borderline, like Slots moons were probably a little slow, but considering getting 3 of them gets you those 3 moons and like an 8-second 4th moon, yeah, that's pretty good value.
Yeah, the Slots moons on their own aren't fast enough, but averaging in with that achievement moon, they barely make the cut.
That's where a lot of the early routing came from, which is, okay, these Toadette moons are super fast. We can get them right at the end of the game. How many of these achievement moons can we route in and not be stretching a little bit for this moon here? Because there's a lot of those 8-bit sections that you're going to see Kerbis doing a couple of them. There's, I think, 2 achievement moons for the 8-bit sections. You get one for a certain amount and then the next for a little bit more.
Yeah,
but
there's
so you have to balance a lot of those things.
A lot
in these
of the
routes.
achievements work in sets of that, like 5 Captain Toads, 10 Captain Toads, 5 Peach, 10 Peach, so on and so forth. So, but yeah, we route in, again, 31 of those. And now going here into Lake Kingdom, one of the smaller kingdoms of the run. Going to go up here and have one of the cooler captures, I guess. You're a zipper?
Yeah.
Is this the only time you're a zipper? I think it's just this and the sub area.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that might actually be that is the last time you will see Kerbis play as a zipper in this run.
I hope you liked it.
Yeah, I hope you liked the cosplay. I plan on being a
zipper for Halloween?
Yeah, for Halloween.
I'm going to take this opportunity to vent about how much I hate the cheap sheet movement in this game.
Oh, you don't like Cheap Cheap?
The small little jiggle bonk that they do.
Oh, the little jiggle wiggle?
Oh my god. It is the most rage-inducing thing.
Cheap movement is deceptively difficult.
Yeah.
It is.
It might look like, yeah, you're just kind of swimming straight, but you see him kind of alternating between his up and his down, and that gives you this little spin that allows you, if you're just going straight, it doesn't actually make you go any faster, but when you're constantly going up, it gives you more more speed going up. And with that Cheap, you can skip all the way up to the boss arena right there, so that's cool. As we said, pretty small level right here, and sorry, Rango, you're not going to be here for too long. Cancel out that attack, get another damage in, ready for the backflip. As soon as he goes down, cancel another attack, and bada bing, bada boom. Very nice.
Try to pick up the coins. If you time a spin throw at the right time, you can grab all those coins as Rango is falling to his death here.
That's actually a real, because Kerbis, I know you're also, love Darker Side, but you also run any percent as well, right?
Yeah.
In any percent, that's actually a strat they basically have to hit.
It can be important, yeah, because coins are a little tight in any percent.
Yeah, they need 200 coins for it to buy. Because coins, in addition to just being for that achievement moon, we also want to buy moons, and I believe 8 different kingdoms in this route right now.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. For Darker Side, you need 1,000 for the achievement, but this route also just happens to spend exactly 1,000.
Yeah, it's exactly 1,000 coins. It's pretty cool.
And this is going to be that first hint art that Spike brought up a little bit ago. So these pictures here are actually going to spawn moons in other kingdoms that when we revisit that kingdom, we're going to be going to get that moon. So you just saw that picture there of Cascade Kingdom. So technically Kerbis spawned that moon, but we're not going to be getting it, at least for about another hour and a half maybe?
Yeah, about to say that's probably, probably in the hour 35, hour 40 range. We'll pick that one up.
Yeah, they're just a little hint for where a moon is located in another kingdom, and you do have to check them for the moon to be available.
I don't want to give crap to anyone who's ever asked it, but do you still get questions of, so do you have to look at the hint art over there? And I'm like, nah, man, I just forget every run. Where is it, dude? I can't find it. Oh, yeah, okay.
You see that one, the pictures on the screen for like 3 frames, like, ah, yes, that's where it was. Okay, I remember now.
It was when I casually played this, I never thought to just take a picture with the Switch.
Right. Yeah.
That's probably what they intendted for you to do. I never thought.
They even prompt you on the screen, like, hey, you can
Go
take
for
a
it.
picture. Go
you
right
think
ahead.
Spike Vegeta's going to read prompts? All right, so here's Cloud Kingdom. This is the only time we're going to be coming here, just a glorified boss arena. There are, I think, like 10 moons that spawn here later on, but it's not worth the time to come back to this kingdom. Not enough fast moons at the start. Nice quick capture of Bowser's cap right there. Very nice. And Kerbis, a little optimization, making sure he got to the side of Bowser to punch him to that side of the arena so he didn't have to move as far to get into place here. And now, as long as Kerbis does a backflip and then times the throwing of Cappy, you can capture that instantly. That is not a trivial strat to go for at all. Takes a lot of practice for the timing. And go over the same sort of stuff, trying to push Bowser to this next location for his final hit. Gonna be using a damage boost here, timing it, getting Cappy. If you want to say Cappy, it's Big Dummy Thick Cappy.
Cappy's grandpa.
Yeah, the big boy.
Yeah, big boy.
He's seen some stuff. He's been on that dude's head.
That hat's a little harder to get closer to, so just damage boost to allow you to get close.
Yeah. This game is very generous with the iframes.
And your health is automatically refilled after this fight anyway, so.
And this is the first big Monka-S moment of the run. Lost Kingdom, we're going to be coming here twice.
Yeah.
Is
Both times.
Yes, very, very scary. That purple liquid that you see all around is we are dealing with meme tree here and looking for the lower shelf here.
Looking pretty good. All right.
But all that purple liquid that you see down there, that is all insta-death. So any fall from Kerbis here is pretty much going to kill him if he is not careful here. So
I would not recommend that Kool-Aid. So anyone, again, maybe familiar with the any percent route. What's going to be different about this one is we're going to come up here primarily to get this checkpoint. This checkpoint is one of the best checkpoints in the game. Any checkpoint that is up pretty high that you can then drop down to moons with, pretty good value. Now we're going to be buffering a spin pound, going down. Ooh, we can
regain himself.
Oh, my God.
Very scary. Very scary
Oh, my
still.
God.
Okay.
You were not lying about the scary part.
Very scary right there.
Yeah, thankfully off of bonks, Mario can come out of that state at some point.
But you saw how long it took for Mario to come out of that state,
Yeah.
so still very scary. This will be an intentional death, though.
Yeah, I actually thought I was going to die there because I forgot I still had my cat bounce.
Yeah, because he hadn't used it yet. That spin pound always scared me. I just dove off.
Again, so I'm going to turn the camera up again to grab that moon earlier.
We'll see how good Kerbis is at gardening. Got to get in that spin throw right here, which, in addition to being very fast, covers a lot of ground really quickly. So perfect for a moon like that. And now, so what's been going on? You might be wondering, man, there's no music in this kingdom. What Kerbis avoided by jumping off that tree and going around this kingdom in that direction is that jerk bird right there. That bird likes to steal Cappy if you get too close. And then you got to spend a lot of time chasing after him, getting Cappy back. Instead, we actually just go around the kingdom and then trigger him. Right now, Klepto thinks he has Cappy and he's keeping it from you, but joke's on him. He, in fact, does not have Cappy.
That spin pound is so scary.
Yeah, I still don't go for that one.
Underneath the bridge.
It's another intentional death just to get back to the checkpoint.
There are 4 intentional deaths, or there's 5. There's 4 intentional deaths in the run, and that was 2 of them. Our boy Gliding, shouts to Kerbis' emote.
Yeah, so when you're in the middle of the air, you can't warp in this game. You have to be standing on solid ground. So from there, especially, it's a lot faster to just let yourself die than to try to get back to solid ground, which is possible, but not worth it. In a lot of places, even if you are already standing on solid ground, if there's a spot right next to you that you can die, it's faster to death warp. But you can only go back to like the previous checkpoint, either the last checkpoint you grabbed or the last checkpoint you warped to.
Right.
Pretty good Lost Kingdom there.
Yeah, pretty solid Lost Kingdom
Very
overall,
nice.
for sure. About to say, with the terrifying bonk we had right there, was able to save himself. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you had your cat bounce or not. I said maybe he can just jump back to the base island with the checkpoint on it. But now here we are in Metro City, or Metro Kingdom, New Donk City. That is what it's called.
We will hopefully be avoiding New Bonk City because there are about 1,001 things that you can bounce your head off of in this kingdom, so it can be very difficult once Kerbis is actually through this night portion and he's moving around during the day. There's just so much junk in your way that optimizing this kingdom is actually very, very tricky, even though it is probably the coolest kingdom in the game.
Yeah, I love New Donk City. Not gonna going for just the long jump strats, like it. With Super Mario Odyssey, it's one of the things that I think makes it one of the greatest speed games. It's just you can infuse your own preference and personality into a lot of the moves in this game. Into a lot of just the movement, I should say.
You need to reset. You didn't do Goomba Bounce.
He went for it.
I tried. I tried my best.
You failed Goomba Bounce. Reset. It's necessary. Necessary swag.
Yeah, I said you can, have a lot of preference. That's not one of those preferences. They will make fun of you. But now going into the Lost and Found section of the run. City Hall. About to say, able to make this first cycle. Very nice. And now that should set him up spacing-wise to where he can just jump up the entire way. He had to give it just a little bit of an adjustment, but still pretty good there. And now we're going to try to get up to this top platform and long jump all the way across this gap. If he misses it, we're going to fall down and lose about 45 minutes. Ooh, didn't even need the extra
Ooh,
cap.
man.
Very nice.
Very, very scary there. I wait that out pretty far until I jump up. And now we're going to get another boss fight here in Mecha Wiggler. Now, the trick for Mecha Wiggler is you're going to want to shoot his segments. And when you shoot a segment, one of these little blue balls you see there, the ones directly next to the ball that you shoot also get deactivated. So very nice there, only 3 shots. This is all manipulation here. Kerbis knows exactly where the Mecha Wiggler is going to go into the wall, where he's going to come out, and where he's going to go into. From that point forward, once the Mecha Wiggler comes back out again, Kerbis is going to be shooting the breeze. I mean, he's going to have to react on the fly. Mecha Wiggler can go basically any direction. And he also likes to cover his hitboxes with other hitboxes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's
sometimes
very,
he
very tricky.
Coils up on himself, and it becomes sometimes impossible, it feels like, to actually hit all the little sections.
He's going for the 2 cycle here. This is the 2nd cycle. Blast out the first couple of these to make sure they don't get in the way. Staying pretty linear there up on the top. He's looking pretty good.
That looks excellent.
Oh, just one little chicken nugget to
Very
go.
nice.
A little bit of cleanup, but that's no big problem.
That's almost one of the perfect patterns you can get where Mecha Wiggler kind of, like you said, stays linear a little bit, but he can come out of that portal and just wrap around himself, and it is just awful to try to get those segments shot and avoid the ones you've already hit, because nothing happens if you shoot the ones you've already shot. So
Yeah,
Stream since last 3 cycle Wiggler.
I think that makes it 7, if I remember correctly.
Very nice. That's a common thing you'll see on Kerbis's channel. And by common, I mean it's always on the bottom.
It's the only point of the channel, pretty much.
Here to remind you guys, because it is about a 25-second time loss roughly if you have to go to that 3rd cycle.
Yeah, just depending on how it kind of reacts and how it acts on the 2nd phase, it can be anywhere from like 15 to 25 seconds.
It's a very solid night metro there by Kerbis. Now going into day metro. First going here for a pretty cool, the first instance of this strat. Throwing out Cappy, holding him in place. And now you can see Kerbis shake right here to snap to that pylon still off screen right there and snap to it and save yourself a little bit of movement time. And now good seed movement. How do you do it?
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, there are 6 seeds that we're going to want to plant throughout the course of this run. Already planted 1 earlier in Sand. Going to be planting 2 here in Metro before we leave. And now just everyone's favorite moon, the sweetest moon in the game, and one of the last moons I found casually.
it's so strange to find casually, because you're like, oh, the guy's just hanging out there. There's a text box for him. You would never think to just sit on the bench, but that is a moon.
You have to stand there for a good like 1.5 seconds before it does anything, before Mario sits down.
It's wholesome as heck, though. That dude's like, oh, no one's ever stopped in all this hustle and bustle. Just sit next and keep me company. Here you go.
And if you notice, I should have gotten the Ghost Band here. There's going to be music playing, but no band is going to be on stage.
Oh, is this for sure?
I think so.
Oh.
Ghost Band?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, no. Kerbis killed everyone. What happened? So, I've had that a lot. Actually, is there a way to consistently get that?
Yeah, if you bump into Pauline and she's like in the middle of her little animation of being like, hey, why'd you do that? As you talk to the drummer, then it does the Ghost Band thing.
If you bump into her and she has a... Man,
Yeah.
there's like a creepy pasta there ready to happen.
He bumped into Pauline after that New Donk City was barren. No one was ever seen again.
She was so distraught. That's the first time their game just giving you a little prompt text box where they're telling you, you can warp. So we're doing that. That's first to like 30-something warps Kerbis has been doing throughout the run. And because on the 1.3 patch, also first of all, Kobe! Just dunking that one real quick.
I almost missed it.
There is one more seed, but it takes far too long to plant it all the way across.
Yeah, carrying seeds long distances is generally pretty slow, so that 3rd one that's a lot further away isn't really worth it.
Another warp instantly.
And those seeds, they take about 20 minutes to grow, and then you can get a moon from them, so we're going to get the moon on the 2nd visit to Metro.
Gonna try to get a cap return jump here. Should still be able to get it. Nice.
Yeah, I was more concerned about turning the camera up, because again, that's another moon that won't really be tangible if you don't take some action there.
And that pretty scary jump right here. Gonna try to get on this railing and long jump off of it. Very nice. We'll try to make it all the way to the platform, and very good. Picking up our 2nd hint art.
Hi, Bucci.
Can we Owen
Yeah,
tap?
we had O-Tap. Now, can we Owen tap?
Dude, can we Owen tap? Is
At least-
any percent runners don't know.
At least he asked nicely, you know.
Right. Oh, excuse me, sir. Can we Owen tap?
You know what that means, right?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It means
Can we
that
say it on stream?
I was going to say, it means that O-Tap's technically a verb. You know what I mean? So when
It's
that-
basically Smurf.
Yeah, when that first guy says O-Tap, he's like demanding. He's like, O-Tap right now. Like, oh, God, okay, fine, I'll O-Tap. All right, jeez.
It's because he's the bassist. Trumpeter, clearly the best band member.
He's the polite one of the group.
Get some cool movement here. Got to avoid all the purple sludge, the Kool-Aid we saw from Lost Kingdom.
And not using these little turnstiles. That actually, the casual way to do this is to actually throw Cappy against these green girders here and use them as almost kind of like seesaws and spin dials that you could ride on, but you can get all the way across there without activating a single one.
So we saw Kerbis go for a clip earlier in Sand Kingdom, was able to get it. There actually is one you could optimally go for in this category here. You can clip through a little bit of the sewers. I believe optimally you would save like 7 seconds if you got it, but it's another one of those when the 1.2 patch happened a year and a half ago.
Brutally
it made
hard.
it brutally difficult.
Yeah.
That one was hard to begin with too.
Yeah, that one started hard.
Yeah, nobody really goes for that in speedruns. A little too hard. You'll probably see it sometime, maybe in the near future, in World Peace runs, but that's much shorter.
Trying to go for, and that's just the category becoming so optimal. That one, this one we're dealing with a 3+ hour category here, whereas World Peace is getting down to what, a 114 now by Dangers.
Yep. We got a few people pushing for 113 right now.
Wow.
It's unbelievable that World Peace is getting to a point where any percent started out like, wow, this is really fast for any percent. Now any percent's down underneath an hour, and World Peace has caught up to where any percent was, which is just crazy. And also, the best part of the speed run and why Darker Side is the best run objectively, you get the festival here in Metro.
I have a confession.
What's that?
I hate the festival.
Get out.
Okay,
Spike, take over.
just the platforming part of it, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
the music's fine. We'll shut up and let you guys listen to the music, but understand this platforming is actually garbage.
Yeah.
It's really easy to lose a lot of time here.
As a spectacle, as a viewer, the festival's great, but any 2D section kind of sucks in this game, and this happens to be the biggest 2D section of the game, so not fun. And
Kill it, Pauline.
Snag a secret moon right here.
That might have been one of my last moons casually.
Oh, yeah.
That took me forever to find.
Jump with me, coins with me, oh yeah.
festival does give you a lot of coins.
Yeah, that is nice. We're getting close to the 1,000. The final battle with Donkey Kong. 1 health, so Kerbis might have to take it a little safe in a few spots.
I'll just wait this one out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little unfortunate he took the initial hit. You kind of expect to take at least a hit on this screen.
A little scary. All right. Should be good there.
Yeah, I'll beat this cycle. Eat it, Donkey.
Nice big bounce there off that
Off
poor concert. That poor person in the crowd just got
Yeah.
Mario bounced right off their head. Also, cool thing that actually we haven't mentioned recently with the damage boosting, if you do take damage during the run and you pick up a moon, your health refills. Off of 1 damage, it's only about a 2 1/3 second loss. Obviously, it's a little bit more for 2 health, but with multi-moons, it doesn't matter if you take damage. They automatically fill your health, and you take no time loss. So it doesn't matter that Kerbis was actually down to 1 health there. He loses no time picking up that multi-moon.
Yeah, that's why you kind of optimally just take some damage in that.
Yeah, if that weren't the case, you would probably play the festival a little differently, but thankfully you don't really got to worry about it. You just got to worry about not dying.
Here's our first Taxi Moon. Again, this guy's going to be going all around the kingdom, or all around the world. That's the last time we're going to see him in the any percent portion of this run.
And that is an ordered progression. You have to talk to him in Metro Kingdom to get him to move to the next kingdom, which I think is Cascade.
Yep. Yeah, it'll go Metro, Cascade, Luncheon, Moon, Mushroom, then back to Sand.
Yeah, so very important. Kind of took a detour at the end of Metro here just to get that moon, but that's important to progress him to the next kingdom.
Right. So even though that's one of those cases where that moon might have felt a little slow, but now you're going to get so many talk to an NPC, get a moon for later on.
Our next decision kingdom here, but we
Decision.
just go to snow.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no consequence here. You can go to snow or seaside, either one, and snow just happens to be the default, so go here first.
Yeah, I was going to say it wouldn't affect the routing, I think, either way.
No. And this is going to be the other major clip in the run, out of bounds clip. That more major, I would say. Than
Yeah,
sand.
this one saves a bunch. Whereas sand kind of cuts out really like one slow moon you'd have to do. This one cuts out a bunch. And it has side effects we'll see later on in the post game.
I actually think one of the coolest side effects, actually, that I think a lot of people aren't, when they see it, if this is your first time actually seeing this run, you're going to think, wow, like, I can't believe that that actually is the result of this. But we'll get to that as we get to it. Another hint mark here. That one was for Lost Kingdom. A lot of different ways to get that moon there, too. You can actually bounce back and forth between the boxes and the wall there, or you could just jump straight onto the boxes.
Yeah. Once again, lots of cool ways. If you ever want to get into speedrunning this game, don't feel like you just have to watch, say, the world record holder or some really good runner doing it. You kind of find your own way just to get to each of the moons. And there's a lot of ways where you lose very minimal time, or maybe it's just even a similar time either way. Buying our first moon of the run right there, costing 100 coins. Yeah, we'll be buying, I believe, 9 of those throughout the course of the run for Kerbis.
My arch nemesis of this game, that umbrella, for that exact reason.
It's so easy to fall off right there. Oh, nice save. So coming up here, there's actually like 3 different snow clips you can do right here. There's one on that wall. We might be coming back up there in a little bit. And then right here, we're going for the moon clip. This is the most optimal one.
I might have gotten it.
You might have got
Looks
it.
like you got it. Oh, yeah. And then jump down to the trigger for the bound bowl, and he's got it.
Very
And
nice. You made a liar of me. I thought I was going to. Yeah, let's give that a clap.
that's
That
really
is
hard.
an
That's very
extremely
hard.
difficult clip.
I almost never get that.
The alternative for that one is a downstairs clip that is notorious for ending runs. We actually saw Bayleaf do it at AGDQ.
Yeah, AGDQ 18, I believe. Yeah, it's extremely difficult for sure.
All right, everyone in the chat, get your bound bowl race guesses in to 2 decimal places, please.
But I'd say pretty commonly will come somewhere in between, what, like a 53 and a 55. So
Yeah, I've been
kind of narrow it down for you guys.
I've been getting 52s recently, though. So if
Okay,
you're
you guys read 52 and 55. Let's go with that.
I'm going to go, it's a marathon. I'll go with 53-46.
That's fair.
53-53. I always do that.
53-53?
So I don't have to. Well, I just always go 54-54, 55. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, this is one of those. I love that this moon is in the route, honestly.
It's almost kind of a fun little, I don't want to say it's a break, because there is a lot of tech going on. You are trying to time these B presses here to make sure that you're getting the maximum height on these bounces. But it is kind of a fun little break. Like, oh, I'm not shaking the controller.
Right.
I'm not working with Cappy to make sure he's going in the right direction. Just a fun little moon that you get to do.
Although you can shake the controller if you want.
Feel free.
Oh, can you shake to get the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's got to make it infinitely harder.
no,
Yeah,
thank you.
one of the places where motion controls actually would wind up being slower, I think.
I always say this when I play through the bound bowl in this category. It almost feels like a Zelda mini game in the middle of the run. I'm maybe thinking of like Majora's Mask, like the rolling Goron mini game and stuff. But I don't know. I thought this was just an interesting dynamic little ways through. You just got through with the clip, so it feels great.
53-17.
Oh,
that.
All
pretty
right.
good time.
That's about average for me.
I was close.
I
to
pop off when I get a 53. 54, I'm like,
Oh, yeah, let's go.
woof.
We're on PB pace. Let's go. We're PBing by a minute. I got a 53.
Dude, I'm excited just to get to this point because it means I'm done with both clips. Because
Exactly,
there
yeah.
is one more clip that Kerbis will be going through in the run. We'll actually be seeing it, well, not next kingdom. We'll be seeing it in a while. It'll be in the next kingdom, but on the second trip. And literally anyone at home can do it.
Yeah,
so.
it's super easy.
I learned it live on stream reading how to do it. It's
Yeah.
that easy. I didn't have to see anybody do it. Like, oh, I do this and this and this. Okay, I can do this now.
So normally what Kerbis was supposed to do there was there are 4 little side rooms with a story moon in each of them. And once you do those 4, that gets you down to be able to do the bound bowl.
Yeah, they each open up a part of the floor, and then it eventually opens up to that slide that I clipped into and lets you get down to that area.
But instead, he'll be still coming back to snow later on. And he's actually going to go into 3 of those 4 rooms because there will be extra moons that spawn in each of them. So each of those rooms will actually give you 3 moons. So basically makes it like really high value sub areas you might see that we're going to be seeing later on in the run.
Time to go fishing.
Best moons in the game, the fishing moons. There'll be 3 of these. This is random.
Good,
No,
very good RNG.
First nibble.
All skill.
Dude, so, okay, I have to ask. I don't know if you do it, Kerbis, when you run this. Are you ever just like, oh, man, I missed it? Because so the fish will give you different levels of nibbles. If he gives you just like a little nibble, you can't pull up. If you pull up, then he's going to break off. It's not going to work. But he gives you a big nibble, then you can shake for it. You ever miss a big nibble?
Oh, yeah.
And just be like, man, he's giving me awful RNG. Because you're the only one who knows if he's hard nibbling or not.
Luckily, there's kind of a pattern to it. If you miss the first one, it usually hard bites on the 4th one as well.
Oh, okay.
Now people are going to be paying attention. You just threw every single Odyssey runner under the bus.
Yeah, we're like,
okay, are they
"Oh,
actually
man."
missing it, or is he giving
Now they're
bad
going to think every
RNG?
time they're lying.
Just don't miss.
Yeah, every time. It wastes about 2 seconds every time he gives you a fake nibble, or a little nibble. Because you can't pull him up on the little nibble.
Yeah, the one in particular is the lake fish. That one, it can be hard to predict when it's actually going to bite your line for the first time. So that's the one I most often miss, like a hard first bite.
Now here into Seaside, a big ocean of sorts. Tons of fast moons actually here, so we'll be having a pretty hefty, really first and second trip. Again, mostly what we're trying to do here in the any % portion of the run is almost like a pseudo world peace, where we're kind of prepping the kingdoms to have a ton of moons collected. Hence why we're even doing stuff like the seeds you're seeing right now. Yeah, it's going to take 20 minutes for these to plant. We'll be back in just enough time. Does want to make sure he puts that, in any of those besides the far right pot. The far right pot is actually, it's a tall beanstalk that it'll spawn. And that actually takes 57 minutes, which even though we're not going to be coming back here for a while, we come back here like
Where is the
50 minutes
Gushin?
from now. He's up in the air. I had him do that to me the other day. I was like, well, that's good.
That's a prime example of if it's not on screen, it doesn't exist. He won't come back down until you look at him.
Yup.
So actually, with that Gushin, well, hopefully Kerbis did not despawn him. I don't think you did, based on where you
There's
dropped
like
him.
a certain
No.
circle that he'll capture.
Right.
I think it's you don't want him to be in like the middle of that bottom platform.
Yeah.
But outside of that, he's fine.
But what Kerbis is actually going to be doing here is taking this Gushin basically around the kingdom, and we're going to be picking up some of those story moons we mentioned a little bit earlier that they're kind of slow. With this Gushin, you could skip all of these massive portions of this kingdom that you're supposed to be going underwater, swimming as a cheap, dodging a bunch of rolling rocks to climb up to get one. We're just going to take this Gushin and take him all the way around the kingdom and picking up these story moons to eventually get to the boss.
And specifically, he despawned that version
that one,
of
yes.
that Gushin right there because he was within that. Again, keep that in mind. Every time you hit the moon, there's a little circle around the moon that will then despawn a Gushin if it's there.
There's a moon there. I'm going to get it later.
Yeah. But now he'll come back, get this Gushin again, allowing it to respawn. And so the Gushin, every time you either land in water, get a moon, or run it through a checkpoint, it refills its water. And every time you land on a different surface, that resets its max height that it can swim up to. So you'll see Kerbis will land here, not for the water, just to reset it. So we can now get this moon, refilling that water, landing, resetting the height, coming up here to Captain Toad, and then being careful to leave the Gushin. There's a lot of manipulation here. Leaving the Gushin on the end of the island right there, otherwise it'll scare Captain Toad and you can't talk to him.
Yeah, if any enemy is too close to Captain Toad, he gets real scared.
NPCs in general will do that.
Yeah, shop owners will do that as well.
Yeah. So now being very careful to drop the Gushin far enough away to where he can still go get him before he runs off, but not too close to where he's going to despawn him inside this little moon cutscene.
Yeah, there's a little circle around these story moons that if anything is inside them, they'll despawn while the cutscene plays, or like once you drop the moon.
And it is a massive time loss, especially this Gushin right here. Despawning this Gushin, because think about all of the movement Kerbis would have to be doing to get around this corner, come over, grab this moon, and then after he grabs this moon as well, getting this Gushin again, grabbing the moon, and working his way back over to where the lava lake is. It is a massive time loss losing.
It feels like it's a good 30 seconds you lose, even if your movement
I'd say it's probably 15 or 20, but yeah, Gushins are super fast. Definitely one of the fastest ways you can move in this game.
Destroying that
I love that kill of him.
The death from above.
I hate these guys, so I always get a little bit of pleasure out of that one.
Wiggly woos. And now for all the work that Gushin did for us, how do we pay him back? He gets Yoshi.
We drop him in lava.
His corpse actually does a really good job of just opening up that hole for you, so you can pick up your last pre-boss story moon. So again, taking care of a lot. I remember in the original days of any%, that back wall with the Gushin was kind of an old any% route. Seaside in any% went through a lot of different versions.
And this is the best boss in the game. This is this guy over here. His name is Brigadier Mollusk Lancelor III, Dauphin of Beauplain.
Wow.
I
nailed that.
I call him the Seaside boss.
That's canon, by the way. I didn't make that
Yeah,
up.
no, that's actually what his name is.
I call him something that I can't say on stream.
This boss is either really cool or it goes terribly. So for that first cycle there, again, has to spray him all the way from the top. He's got that molten lava head. But now Kerbis is going to cut him off at the pass.
And I'm going to grab this moon now because I have to wait for him to kind of make his loop around. So while that's happening, just grab the moon now. It's slightly faster than grabbing it when I spawned it.
That is some effing routing right there. Yeah. Leaving that moon all the way there. That's cool that Nintendo allowed for the moons. Nah, they'll chill there. It probably leaves if you leave the kingdom. That's the extent of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now coming up, cutting him off right at this spot, which is going to fully get that second hit off. Now come over here, get some water, clip him, stun him, butt pound him, and that's 3 hits. Very nice boss fight right there.
Yeah, so if you kind of put him in a particular spot, it forces him, for whatever reason, we don't really know why, just to clip through that island. Otherwise, he would either go around the front or the back of it. But
and I was going to say, as he is spinning, you cannot actually shoot the water down at him as he's kind of doing that spin. It's also really hard to get on top of him, so getting that stop right there so he does clip through that little rock face there is actually really, really important. So
it's one of those where, so for a while when we first routed it, we thought, okay, the first one, because he's got the lava on his head, we need to spray him all the way there. That was taken care of. But the second and third hits, it was, well, why don't we just do that for both? We'll just stun him real quick and then jump out and ground pound, get another one for the third one. He actually spins for forever if you do it on the second hit. So.
Yeah, it changes like the scripted spots where he's going to stop and actually allow you to damage him. So winds up being better to not ground pound him on the second phase. And I think that's a really cool boss just because it actually uses the entire kingdom.
Yeah. You actually cross over the entire thing. It's pretty sick. So with that, we're past our first 100 power moons. Again, the further we go into this run, the faster those are going to start racking up.
Yeah, the first half of the run, you'll only get about 150, and then the second half, the rate of moon collection actually doubles.
Moon. And at the end of the run, we pick up 31 real quick.
Coming into your favorite kingdom.
Luncheon Kingdom. I actually like Luncheon quite a bit. Yeah, the Pepto-Bismol Kingdom.
I hate everything about this kingdom.
Yeah. Oh, I think my opinion is very unpopular. A lot of people despise this kingdom. I think a lot of the sub-areas in this kingdom are pretty cool. Some of the movement where you climb up to the boss we'll be seeing here on the first trip, I think is super swag, super sick.
I like the music.
The music is great. Luncheon's top 5. All right, top 5 tracks in Super Mario Odyssey. Luncheon. I like Lost, Night Sand, Wooded, and Bowser's. Top 5.
All right, I have a really obscure one. You ready for this?
All right, let's hear it.
In Metro, in the cafe, the piano version.
There you go.
Of the song that plays.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites. Night Sand is excellent. The town here in Luncheon is fantastic.
Yes.
And, you know, I don't know, man. I really like Wooded. Just the bass Wooded song.
Yeah.
That's one of my
Wooded's real
favorites.
good.
But easily, that Metro one, I could just jam to that piano version of the Mario song. But refight for Spirit here. Same fight as before with
it's the same
Wooded.
one.
Yep.
But he only gives you 1 moon instead of 3. Kerbis, do you have any favorite tracks?
My favorite in the game is one you see in a couple sub areas, the Forks room.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That song slaps. So
We'll hear it a
well.
couple times later.
Yeah.
I'll try to point it out.
Yeah, there's thankfully a number of times. Obviously, we're trying to pick up the 500 fastest moons in this game, but there's going to be a good like 13 or 14 sub areas that we're going to go to in this run, and a lot of them are like they're super fun to watch, and they have that great music too.
Yeah, there's some of the coolest spots in the game, just because they're these really close, focused platforming areas.
Making our way into the Perona Plaza, one of your favorites, as you said.
It is. This music right here that's playing.
I
It's
do
a really
like-
cute area here with all the residents of Luncheon Kingdom, mostly fork people, as I like to refer to them as.
Dude, they're so adorable.
Pan Bro.
Pan Bro, one of the worst moons in the game. Let's go. The cheese. Wasn't too bad.
Canonically, that is cheese.
That is
That is
actually.
actually big blocks of cheese.
I don't think I'd want to eat that. That seems a little hard for my taste, but you know.
Real dry, laying
Yeah.
out in the sun.
Just gotta bash it with a frying pan to get it to break open.
Ever wonder about that? Like, Luncheon Kingdom probably doesn't smell very good.
Oh God, no!
Like,
Like
just the-
Pepto-Bismol, they're sinking it.
Rotten cheese sitting all over the place.
They just
Oh, man.
marinate everything in Pepto-Bismol.
Gonna try to grab this. It's canonically, it's called a lava bubble. It's not a potaboo, even though I know
Oh, man.
it's a potaboo.
There's such a fight about it's a potaboo. It's a potaboo. I'm like, but it's a lava bubble. It's also
The
a
game
lava bubble.
actually calls it a lava bubble. It's weird, I know. Here's our actual first sub area of the game. He's gonna be going for a spin pound strat right here. Ooh, our first death of the run. That's all right. We got plenty of coins. But yeah, trying to go for a spin pound right here in order to catch this lava bubble in the early cycle. Good stuff.
When you die, at least it makes the cycles in the
Easier.
sub areas easier.
Dude, I wasn't going to say that. You took it away from yourself.
That-
And now he's going to try to spin jump
Yep.
across the rest of this gap, these gaps. Oh,
Very nice.
that will always be scary.
Oh, it'll always be scary. And an interesting thing that you see in this room with those the lava bubble there, what we've been talking about a lot with the moons not being on camera, you actually saw Kerbis was inside of that moon as the lava bubble when he captured it. You have to give the moon that little bit of time, and that is a very scary spin pound.
Yeah, I was about to say, going for the buffered spin pound right there. It's so easy. He's doing it all over the place. Again, well, just proven doesn't like the luncheon. Oh, I was like, is there some way he can save this?
He
Nah,
might.
I
Oh,
almost
no,
got it.
he's not gonna
That's
save
all right.
it.
We're going to come right out of that sub area. That saved our last position.
I'm actually really surprised I got so much distance on that. Usually I would die the other way, if anything.
Did I hear you bonk there?
Yeah, but it
That
was
was
just
interesting.
enough. Yeah, it was just enough there to the capture was already getting him.
Best
So-
capture in the game. Big
Go
piece of
meat.
meat. Big piece of meat.
To get the best multi-moon in the game objectively. All right, great platforming right there. That deserved 3 moons.
I always love the giant corn on the cob just chilling in the...
Yeah, dude.
Man, Nintendo programmed that corn of the cob to have physics and all this
Uh,
stuff. We never touch it.
Yeah.
We touch one later, though.
We do. Get a good old corn boost later, maybe.
Oh, yeah, with the Goombas. I was like, we touched the cord? I thought we were going to jump past
Wait,
that one, too.
we touch corn in this run? We do a lot
So-
of weird things in this run.
So what's screwy, this state that the kingdom's in, we haven't fully brought peace to this kingdom. That was the first of 2 multi-moons. We lost all of our checkpoints because kind of all of Perona Plaza got cut off, except for that checkpoint you got right there. And so it would actually be faster if you just wanted to go straight through the story to just go there. But we're going to actually utilize this checkpoint to come down, get this moon, and then along the way to Perona Plaza, take about 10 extra seconds and get another hint on it, which we're going to want for when we go back to Seaside later. Because Luncheon's actually going to be one of the final kingdoms that we revisit. Again, beautiful buffered spin pounds all over the place. It takes a ton of practice to be good at your buffered spin pounds in this game. And you got to do them all over the place.
And it is one of those things that with those buffered spin pounds, as we're going to get probably another one here to clear this gap. You can see one there. The easiest thing if you're just picking up this game and you want to learn those buffered spin pounds, one of the things that is actually, they don't tell you when you kind of learn this trick is, it depends on, you're not trying to time Mario facing the direction that you're going. It's actually just whatever direction you end your spin on, that's going to be the direction Mario takes off on. So Again, it's one of those advanced techniques where almost every single time you're going to see a spin pound, you can just do a ground pound when you're starting off.
Right.
So
It's what happens is because you're doing the ground pound, because of the slow animation, you're a lot of times losing those frames you would be saving anyways from the animation. But if you want to just get a feel for just like what it is at top speed, for sure. So with that, picking up our last little small story moon and now making our way up with some really swag climbing here. Skipping out on a lot of the intended climbing. Gonna pick up one moon real quick here.
Last Kingdom had the best boss in the game. This Kingdom has the worst one.
easily. How long did it take you to realize you could hit those fireballs?
It was, so there were like 2 iterations of this route. I was kind of the primary guy routing it at first. I had no idea you could do that. And they were like, that changes everything.
Yeah, I don't remember when I first learned that, but I definitely did not figure it out on my own.
God, I absolutely love this movement here. Going into a backflip, cap diving, up into the up throw. Very nice stuff right there. And then ending it with the dive into the roll cancel, snagging the lava bubble or potaboo or whatever into the bowl soup. That's some of my favorite movement in the entire run, actually. I love it.
That was one of the first real complex pieces of movement that when this run and any percent all the other runs were slowly starting to develop, that was that one piece of movement that kind of got out like, wow, like this is like what optimal movement can look like in this game.
I just want to point out that they were planning on eating this stew, and Cookateel just
Vomits in it?
Absolutely vomits in it.
It's pretty rude.
So Kerbis is using 2 spin throws each time, or spin jumps, or whatever you want to call them here each time. It's random whether Cookateel will go to the left or the right, so he kind of waits to see what it is just a little bit before moving in.
And this part of this fight,
casually, this was impossible.
Got the optimal 4 jump there.
Very nice. I think I usually 5 jump it. I always assume I'm optimal -1 on everything, or optimal +1, I guess. And now you've got a corpse in that soup as well. So you got a vomit, corpse. I want to get out of here.
all these poor people are going to be eating this stew in a couple minutes. I just murdered this bird.
Yeah, I guess there is. The stew comes down.
Yeah.
At that point.
It needed some protein.
I don't know if it wanted that kind of protein in it.
So with that, done with Luncheon Kingdom for now. Again, these are our little bite-sized ones, and just prepping all the kingdoms. A lot of the trips later, I would say most kingdoms we come back to and get between like 20 and 40 moons in a very short amount of time. Right there, Kerbis thought there was a cutscene.
Skipping the invisible cutscene.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes it'll come back and have a cutscene. Sometimes it won't. Just one of those you kind of got to stay in the moment. You can't fall asleep on it.
After the first multi-moon, you'd spawn in that same spot with
Yup.
cutscene. So.
Yup. Big yup. Just don't do an early moon dump. That's all we ask.
Yeah,
Don't
try-
early
I'll
moon
try
dump
my
in
best.
Metro.
We need the
I
satisfaction
did that the
of
last
big,
run.
of the big moon dump. We need that.
I think I've only done it once, and it's been a while, so I think we should be okay. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself.
So we're pushing ourselves to, this is really the end game of the any percent portion. Going to Bowser's Kingdom right here. But along the way, for the second time, our Odyssey gets shot down. So we have another boss arena we got to do.
We end up in Dark Souls 3 here.
Yeah, right here. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're a man of class saying Dark Souls 3. Best Dark Souls.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Oh, okay. You were about to not be a man of class. You were about to disagree.
I had to think about it for a second, but
Let's see what kind of backup we go for right here. Very nice standard backflip. That can actually be a little difficult to do because it's easy to get Mario to bonk right there.
See, now I'm going to tell you guys something that you're never going to unsee. Everyone says this is the Dark Souls dragon, but this is the dragon from Shrek.
Oh my god!
holy crap.
It kind of is, dude.
It's just a purple version of
Yeah, I
her.
was about to say. Isn't she purple?
I think she's
Yeah.
red.
Or is she like...
she's like
Somewhere in that spectrum.
Yeah, she's in the red spectrum.
I have to bring this up. There was there's a fan-made version of this game where it modified a lot of things. Have you ever played it, Kerbis? It's like Master Mode or something. So, not to give anything away, it actually looks kind of cool. I want to play it at some point. But there's a version of this boss. There's like ice physics and like all this other stuff going on. They make this boss like 10 times the size it is here. It's terrifying. So it comes down and it's like an entire kingdom just climbing this thing. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, the boss fight here, that's all this kingdom really is. Even after you come back the second time, that's kind of still all it really is. I think we all expected this kingdom was going to get like DLC at some point. Flesh out like, what is this place? But you saw Kerbis pick up one other moon back there, that treasure chest moon. Pretty quick one to pick up along the way.
Yeah.
And treasure chests are another set of moons you can collect from for achievements.
It's the only moon available here before you actually do the fight.
Yeah, Ruined Kingdom along with Cloud Kingdom, the two kingdoms we will not be revisiting. This one at least gives you a multi-moon for beating this boss.
And I just want to assure you guys that this dragon is not dead. When you come back to the kingdom, still chilling here, taking a nap with one eye kind of half open. It's
Little concussed, but
He's
he's
just
fine.
max chilling.
just need a little.
I think we like knocked some sense into him. He had like
Yeah,
that
exactly.
big crown on his head. It looked like it was like puncturing him.
Yeah.
We took it out with the power of Mario's butt. Slamming into it.
Bowser had some sort of weird mind control thing on him, and we saved this dragon. This dragon's actually a good guy, believe it or not.
Exactly.
I think in the lore of that, I like to because Peach is chilling up there with him, that he's just like, oh, she's so pretty. He's just like, oh, okay. I can deal with this.
When you go back, doesn't he say something when you talk? He's like, my head hurts.
I think he's like
Something like
so
that, yeah.
sleepy
That's
or
it.
something.
So
yeah.
sleepy. That's what he says.
Now my head hurts would imply that like we did a bad thing. No.
Just made him real tired.
I can give you guys all motion sickness by rotating the camera.
I don't know. I
these
forget all the
sections.
time that you can
Ugh.
do this. That's the most random thing they gave you control over.
Hey guys, if you don't mind me popping in for just a second.
Yeah,
Retro
sure.
Lovers,
Absolutely.
thank you very much for picking up a Speed Gaming Live 2019 t-shirt.
Heck yeah. Pick up a T-shirt.
We got one of 8 speedgaming.org/merch, all themed for this year's marathon, and 2 sticker packs, one of 8 emote sets. Check them out at speedgaming.org/merch.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Yeah, picking up all that cool merch we got for you guys. And again, everything you guys throw down, just further supporting future Speed Gaming Live events. Definitely would love to see Speed Gaming Live 2020 and more in the future. Go for another one of those cool strats right here where he lays the Pokio and Cappy in a specific spot and is able to get that moon, making it more than fast enough to put into the route. Snap your way back up and get going.
Yeah, there's another Pokio that spawns down there. You would just have to climb the wall otherwise.
Going for a nice triple jump strat right here. Ooh, beautiful. The little wraparound right there on the big boy.
The ogre, as they are called. in
Yeah, I
this
was
game,
going to
they-
say, that's
those
another
are-
one. They refuse to call them thwomps.
Yeah, they are not thwomps. They are ogres.
Ogres. Maybe fits the more, the theme here a little bit better.
I was going to say, Kerbis, do you never kill that Spiny up near that Pokio? Do you always gamble that Cappy's not going to home in on the Spiny?
Yeah, I don't.
Man.
It's one of those, if you place the Pokio in the same way every
Yeah.
time, it actually
Right.
should be fine.
It's very consistent. There's one time I have a kind of crazy clip of when I had just abandoned it. I was like, that's closer to the Pokio. There's no way that's going to capture. So I just let go of the button, and the Cappy, like, returning to Mario just was on the perfect angle that it hit the Pokio on the way back.
Wow.
So going for some Pokio-less strats right here. He's going to snag this throw right here and then drop down, throw Cappy back, and do a motion throw. Motion throws in this game we haven't really talked about, but you can throw Cappy, and that'll give you X amount of distance. But then if you shake afterwards, it'll home in on whatever is in the area, whatever it looks like it wants you to snap into.
And something a lot of people don't know is you can actually aim that homing throw. So if there's like 2 or 3 things in close proximity to each other, depending on which way you shake the controller, it will go in a different direction.
I never knew.
It's like not.
We run this game, right?
It's not
Yeah,
really
Did
useful
we not know that?
in that many places, but there's a couple where it's actually really nice to know.
Huh.
I think I always just made sure my camera was facing the right way, but that's a cool piece of tech that I actually never knew.
Yeah, so if you push forward to the right, it'll home that direction. If you push forward to the left, it'll home that way.
Okay.
Now, if there's only one thing in close proximity, then it will just always go to that. But if it has the option, then you can kind of control it.
Bowser's got a lot of these little story moons that allow you to move on to the next areas. It was a common thing a lot of people asked us back when we first started running the game. People even still ask, oh, have you not found a way to just, like, get over these walls, not have to get those slow story moons with all the cutscenes? The pylons, I believe, do not spawn. These things that we are able to warp to the next area.
Yeah, even if you got over the wall, you wouldn't be able to progress to the next area. And, like, even if you got to the end, the boss fight just wouldn't be there.
Dude, aiming these Gizos to actually land in their positions is so hard.
They're terrible. One of the worst captures in the game, easily.
You're not going for the new strat, are you?
No, I tried it earlier. It's going to take a little bit more work.
Yeah. It's a cool strat. Valu, kind of one of the all-time top 3D Mario speedrunners. Runs all the different 3D Marios, including 3D World, the Galaxy, Sunshine, 64. Got into Odyssey. And actually found a little strat here that would save like 1.5 seconds on another one of those strats where you lay out Cappy, go down, and then warp back up.
You still kind of do a cool thing there where you jump back out of that hole instead of taking the pipe out. Avoids an animation. A couple seconds faster.
Topper first.
Topper first forever.
Nah, he might have wrote the document for this says Topper first for sure. I'm a Harriet first kind of guy.
Same Harriet first.
But right here, actually going for bounced on almost every other cap in the proximity besides that one.
Luckily, I knew where he was.
Yeah.
You know that wouldn't have happened if you'd have done Harriet first.
Yeah, that's how it works. I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, pretty difficult. You got to be able to, you got to be really good on your timing because it's as soon as all the caps spawn in, that's when you're free to jump on Topper. You only have a few frames there to land on him before he flies off in a different direction. And knocking these cannonballs out of the air on Harriet can also be pretty difficult. Easy to just not quite have Cappy at the correct angle, and they just fly off in distance, and you lose a number of seconds.
And the spots I'm standing in between phases are important. Harriet can, the number of bounces she does varies depending on where you're standing. So standing in a spot to minimize that.
Yeah, more manipulation. Our second and final Harriet fight.
So you slowly get less and less moons for fighting these guys. It starts out as multi-moons, and then you just get one
it's
for
like, all right,
Steward
we
and
got
Luncheon,
it.
and now you gotta fight 2 of them just for 1 moon. It's a raw deal.
It's like, all right, Mario, you proved your point.
Yeah,
like,
we
you can
get
beat
it.
these guys. Like, we're not giving you multi-moons every single time you beat one of them up.
It's all right. Rango's just done.
Oh, yeah, you...
Rango's like, I just left that moon in snow. You guys
Yeah.
saying a little bit.
Ice Rango doesn't exist.
It's a myth.
It's a myth.
It is.
All right, so now into the final climb of Bowser's Kingdom. And this is my top 5 track. This Bowser's Kingdom specifically. I love this track. Get another checkpoint they're going to want to utilize back there.
Yeah, Bowser's Kingdom, we're going to get a lot of checkpoints. And most kingdoms, the checkpoints you get, you don't actually use them. They're just for the achievement. But Bowser's, you pretty much use every one you get. And then there's a couple that you actually intentionally avoid because they make things difficult.
Got to do some blind movement right here because the camera doesn't turn around for a little
I
while.
wasn't going to make that.
Oh, barely able to avoid that bomb cycle. And again, as Kuiper brought up much earlier in the run, whoa, that is sick.
Love that.
That
was
is a
so
sick
cool.
strat right there. Setting up for the cat vault. I love that. That was. Could you do it again? Just go back.
Can you do it on the way back, maybe?
Because the cat vault is such a cool movement that gets such little usage. Because it's,
Yeah.
you know, most part you're jumping everywhere. You're trying to also gain height.
It's just good there because you're waiting so long for that ogre to smash down and break that block that you have a ton of time to set it up. So it's actually one of the few places where it's optimal to use a vault like that.
God, and you go flying. It's so good.
Yeah, I love it.
No, I mean it. Go back and do it again. So here we have the Pokio climb. Trying to optimize staying on the left side of that wheel since it'll obviously move you up. Avoid that checkpoint so that it doesn't get in the way of trying to go back to this checkpoint later.
Ooh, I just didn't go forward. I had no momentum. That was weird.
That's sometimes the front part of that wall I find at the top has been a little funky in the past, so I can
You
see
could
that.
actually get the Pokio almost stuck in
Yeah.
the top portion of that wall for some reason. If you land on it just right, the Pokio, it almost kind of seems like your feet get clipped
Yeah,
in the top
that's
part
what
of the wall, and you basically have to uncapture the Pokio and recapture it to pop it back out. So
Psych! Not gonna do the fight.
we don't want to fight Bowser anymore.
No, that sounds terrible. And we're not gonna fight Bowser here. We're going to be taking on all the Brutals. I said Rango was done. He's got one more appearance. This will be, I guess, the last appearance of all the Brutals in this run.
Right leg? Absolutely. Going for right leg.
I guess for him it's left leg. But yeah, climbing
Well,
up. Normally they want you to utilize the Pokio all throughout this. So now he's resetting himself up because once you're on it, there's a timer that'll be counting down. And after this counts down enough,
Poor Rango.
it'll blow Mario off of the Mecha Brutal right here. So we're going to try to never use the Pokio. Very nice setting up right there. Absolutely nasty strat. Taking out Topper as we come in. Now the bucking Bronco phase. Got to just wait for this to bounce 3 times. It is invincible. You can't jump on either one of them right here. But coming out of this, Kerbis is going to try to get a quick hit, I believe, on Spewer.
Yes. Going to line up this ground pound on the top. Time his ground pound and take Spirit out.
You also see Kerbis going for those extra little twirls right there. You can actually press A as Cappy comes back to you. Oh, and retime it, and whack-a-mole time. Very nice. I'll say I had to reclimb there at the beginning.
I think I'm one of the only people who does that backflip strat.
The backflip for Spewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like
It's
it.
a lot scarier than it looks. It's by far the most consistent way I've ever gotten to do this fight.
Mecha Brutal is definitely one of those when you get into running this game, you do whatever is comfortable for you.
There's like 6 variations of difficulty of how you can do that fight.
Yeah, I still go up right leg or left leg, I guess.
Well, the way I was viewing it was like, oh, from our perspective,
Right.
it's the right leg.
Yeah.
But
Hey guys, just popping in real quick to go on top of his t-shirt purchase, Retroverse with a $55 donation.
Very nice.
woo, all right.
Please add my t-shirt purchase contribution to the SMZ3 Super Metroid ALTTP combo, and this contribution towards Banjo-Tooie any % at SGL 2020.
Yeah, if you want to talk a little bit about what, because obviously, you know, people have probably watched a lot of GDQs in the past. We got a little bit of a moon cutscene right here before we get there. Picking up one more moon. You want to tell us a little bit about what people can throw down money for? People are talking about, oh, put towards Banjo-Tooie and whatnot. What's going on?
Well, what we're doing is any donation that's going on is fueling the prize pools for SGL 2020. And on top of that, if there's any game that you want to see in next year's marathon or next year's races, include that in your comment. It doesn't have to be something that's being shown this year. Anything that you want to see, let's say maybe, hey, you like Kirby's Dream Land. You want to see Kirby's Dream Land being raced next year.
Dude, I would love to see Kirby's Dream Land here.
But if we get enough donations for that, it could be one of the 3 featured tournaments, one of the featured side tournaments. Anything that you want to donate for, you can get it in. If it, I believe it's top 9, I believe. Top 9, top 10.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out. We're obviously here nearing the end of Speed Gaming Live. You know, you got the marathon runs going on down here. We got a lot of the tournaments going on all over the venue. And this has been an amazing event to be to. So I would love to see this event become more and more successful. See that first real, or one of the first real big speedrunning competitive events. Just become more and more successful and showcasing all these different games that we love to run. Going for the spin pound on the moon.
And this is that vectoring we brought up earlier. Not going to get it, though.
Yeah, kind of dropped out of the triple jump right there.
Kind of
We have some more opportunities for it.
Oh, yeah.
went off that ledge in a weird way. But if you want to make me really happy, go ahead and contribute your money towards Super Mario Odyssey Triple Bingo.
Yes,
Heck yes.
dude. We're in
Absolutely.
next year. Dude.
Absolutely.
Triple bingo of this game is like the most fun way to race this game.
For sure.
I will let you guys know, Triple Bingo is currently sitting at 12th place as one of the side tournaments. A donation of at least $11 right now would get it up into one of the featured side tournaments, which would be a $200 bonus to the prize pool.
You heard him, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get in those donations right now. Would love to see Super Mario Odyssey. We'll all 3 be here competing in it for sure.
Definitely.
There's a lot, kind of like Rando, there's a lot of strategy you can implement. For just like, all right, what does my opponent want to do? What kind of goals will they go for? How do I block that potentially? I would love to see that showcase next year. And now we're going for the classic skip. Do it like Kerbis does this right here. You will never fail it at home. Ground pound off the crown of the head. At the apex of your jump, you're going to throw Cappy off of the wall. We're going to step back up so we can show it. Throw Cappy off the wall, get that bounce. Throw Cappy into the wall to get that wall stall. Kick off the left wall, and up we go.
I was just showing you what not to do.
Yeah, I was about to say, we were showing you the failed version. I get that.
There's a little L. If you guys did catch it at home. There's a backwards L on that wall. You want to line up Mario right in the center of that L using that cap stall. And once you do that, if you go over to the left wall that's on your left on the screen, you'll get that every single time, just like Kerbis did.
Yeah. I feel like that trick became it was like 98% free. It became 100% free when I saw someone like, why don't we just throw Cappy into the wall?
Right, yeah.
I never thought to do that. I lost so many PBs not being able to time it rightly.
I got that like third try.
Yeah, like, dang it, dude. I lost like 20 seconds here. Like, oh, wait, I could just throw Cappy again.
Yeah, we can just, because you want to be in that box.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of cool Moon Kingdom movement right there. Moon Kingdom we will come back to near the end of the run, but it's actually going to be a very short trip. So snagging a lot of those moons on the way up to getting here into the inside section. And now another Bowser fight. Super cool strat, just holding Cappy in place with it. Because once you put the cap on top of Mario, that's what triggers Bowser to start jumping away from you and wasting a bunch of time. So you hold it in place there, and once you're basically on the hill going up to Bowser, that's when you snap Cappy back to you. Also, this fire's hitbox, dude.
It's not very good. As you can see, Kerbis was clearly inside of the fire there, but
As long as you're literally not standing on the ground, you will not take damage.
That literally just scans the floor. That's the only hitbox there.
See a lot of people go for the, I got a backflip over it, do a whole bunch of cap bounces. You could just do a simple one little hop over.
Dude, I like doing the ballerina twirls.
I do too.
Spin over all of them.
It looks really like, it's really dramatic. I got to nail all of these spin jumps.
This is good, though. This is just like, nope. Nintendo did not try very hard with the difficulty of that.
Once again, just going to damage boost for the last phase.
Yeah, it's because like a lot of those caps can actually be annoying to dodge on like the second throw out. Right here, watch out for the fake out. Also, I'm pretty sure 80% of the budget for this game went into how sexy Bowser's hair looks. And now for the classic escape.
Let's get some anime.
I was about to say, if I already named my top 5. We had to go top 10. I think the next 2 tracks actually would be in it. I love this track, just the escape music.
Did you ever notice it's like the Cascade music variation?
No. It is. What?
I'm blowing your mind.
That's 2 mind blows right there for the night.
That one was pointed out to me as well, though. I didn't notice that on my own.
That's pretty sick. Nice little triple jump strat from Kerbis right there to skip out on some platform. He's having to walk around right there. And now going for the 2D shortcut. This one's always a big monk ass. It's like 45 seconds if you miss this. He's going to try to blow out the bottom block and then use the others for platforms.
Got to look at Bowser's feet, and the second you see Bowser's feet kind of just right as they're about to go off that platform, that's when you need to jump.
Also, a general mind blow. I remember it was like a year after this game came out. They were like, why don't you hold Y to run as Bowser in the 2D section like you do with Mario? I went, I would have never thought to do that. As soon as you do that, you save like multiple seconds there.
And that was like over 1,000 people who were in this game didn't notice that until like months later.
Anime time.
Absolutely.
So we got to hit each of these 4 pillars with either 5 fireballs or 5 slashes. Both do the same amount of damage. So trying to make sure he keeps the fireballs on camera to make sure that one breaks down. That one does look like it has 1 health left, so we'll have to clean that up later on.
Getting that right pillar before you actually get the one on the left is a little bit faster. Kerbis is going to have to shoot 1 more fireball. Hopefully it doesn't get blocked by some of these boulders that you're seeing rolling along on the ground. They can block your fireball, so it could be a little bit annoying, but looks
shooting
like he's
a few
got 2
over there, making sure. That's actually 2 health left on that one, so yeah. Good job paying attention to that.
And if this was any percent, you would be ready to be hitting your split button for the final time, but we have plenty more game to go, so.
God, I wish my 80% time was that good. Like my 80% for Darker Side. Low 127, really solid so far.
Yeah, it's about just over a minute off my PB so far, so pretty good.
Yeah, really solid stuff. Had 2 really quick deaths in luncheon, but overall, a lot of the movement's been really, really solid.
What is your PB, just so the people at home know, Kerbis?
It's a 3:15:21.
That puts you in 4th place on the leaderboards for Darker Side, a very competitive category. So nothing's as competitive as any percent, where there's literally like 2,000 people who have done a run of this. It's if you can get top 100 in any percent,
And that's the Moon Rock. That's going to be in every kingdom.
No.
They're
right there.
kind
Is top 100 all sub 1 yet?
no.
Oh God, no.
Oh, I was gonna say,
There's
sub
like there's
oh,
like 9 people.
there's
who are
There's
nine
only
people.
9 people?
Yeah.
I thought
top
like,
100 is like 105.
105s,
59.
okay.
Yeah, it's like
I was gonna
105 or
say.
106.
Yeah, I'm not in it.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, I mean, I'm not even close.
All right, so here we are in Mushroom Kingdom.
Cool little Easter egg. I like this when you first
Yeah,
do
this was cool. I don't like the playing the kingdom.
Yeah,
I find
no.
the moons here very boring.
I was very happy to see this kingdom for the first time, but that's about where the enjoyment ended.
You weren't happy to see Luigi? Well, he came later.
Yeah,
but-
he
I'm
came.
about to say he's a 1.2er. Coming over here with some good seed movement. Going to give himself a couple of skips and then come out of it, holding Y so he can pick it back up, and then do some triple jumps to maintain that P speed a little bit longer. Might have to replant that seed, but coming down and grabbing this one as
Thought
well.
I heard it. Yeah. Oh, no, a little off.
Oh.
Lonzo Ball.
Yo, nice. Lonzo Ball. Oh, a different variation on the route. I like this route more because you do Goomba jump earlier.
Yeah, this gets some of the weird stuff out of the way on the first visit, and it honestly doesn't really lose time to the other route. It's just a matter of preference.
Yeah. But basically, after you have to plant those seeds, so they're obviously growing
Yeah.
by the time you come back.
It's just
Then
a
after
matter of
that-
doing things in a different order on different visits, but it's all the same moons.
I remember the first time playing this game thinking you needed to get the scooter in order to get to this moon.
Yeah.
Nah, man, with good rolling, you can make it in time.
Scooter speed and like top rolling speed are exactly the same, pretty much.
Ooh.
So right here, he's going for a very difficult strat, just the Goomba bounce, or the Goomba jump. Right here, just snagging the one moon or star.
That
whatever you wanna
that
call it.
toad is, has given up his life to protect that moon, and
Unless a Goomba shows up.
unless a Goomba shows up.
Especially once the muscle. Very nice on the first try. That probably looked easy.
No.
It's something with the spinning on slopes and then jumping off of said slope.
Yeah, you get crazy momentum jumping off slopes as Goombas.
There's a terrible moon in Sand Kingdom where you have to bring a Goomba out way far in the desert. It's actually kind of interesting to watch in all moons because they jump off a slope on sand and go flying across the thing.
Yeah, if you do it right, that moon looks crazy. But the intended way to do that is to drain the moat and then stack up like 10 or 11 Goombas
Yeah.
to get on eye level with that Goombette, but you can just cross that gap with the momentum jump.
Another hint art right there. That'll be for Cap Kingdom very late in this run. And we will be coming back into there. That's actually where Toadette is. And the reason why Kerbis talked to that Toad outside, that is an extremely important, that's the most important NPC in the game.
Oh yeah.
Because if you don't talk to him, Peach does not spawn in the rest of the kingdoms throughout the run. So
Yeah.
you would lose like 12 moons if you didn't talk to him.
So now that we've saved Peach from Bowser, she wants to go back and visit all of the kingdoms that she was forcefully dragged through and have a good time there. So she's off visiting every kingdom, and you can get a moon from her in all of them. So, but you have to talk to that Toad in order to kind of trigger that side quest or whatever you want to call it.
It's another one of the hot debates in this game as to which outfit Peach wears is the coolest one.
Overalls or you're a liar.
Overalls are pretty adorable.
Yeah.
I think I am definitely the leggings, Cap Kingdom, her coat, her winter coat.
Little Pico, that's
I think that's max cute.
high tier.
That is.
You're not a fan of the Bowser's Kingdom one?
The kimono
I
or
was gonna say
whatever.
the kimono one is
That's
pretty cool.
That one's okay. I could do without it.
Yeah, that one's actually probably lower on the list for me. Yeah.
Overalls is definitely top tier though.
This Notes Moon is one of my least favorites in the run.
I hate rolling down this. I always line up the camera because I convince myself it's not going to work.
That's not even the part I hate. I just hate the other one where you're kind of walking awkwardly on the slope trying to grab all the notes. Because it's so awkward to do anything on slopes. in this game.
Yeah, you'll see whenever he's having to roll on a slope, he's really aggressively shaking to make sure that he's just going to say, I don't care how bad the slope is. Mario's just going to skip over all of these weird divots fastly.
So all the X's on that map are moons that just got spawned in.
Yeah.
So now that I've broken open that rock, this one was already here, but there's going to be a bunch throughout the kingdom that were not there before. So you can kind of see every time I open a moon rock, you'll see all of the black X's on the screen, and that kind of shows you, it's a good visualization of how many moons get added to each kingdom. Snow doesn't get too many, but some like sand and a couple other big kingdoms get a ton.
Interesting moment there coming off that timer challenge there. It's funny because there's actually a couple moons in this game where you don't get to use Cappy. And it's almost crazy as you go through this game with Cappy the entire time. When Cappy gets taken away from you, like, I can't do anything.
Yeah, all
like,
of a sudden
oh my
your options
goodness.
get way more
Like,
limited.
I hate all of those moons that you don't have Cappy for. 'Cause the problem with it is you lose all methods of stopping your momentum or changing your momentum.
Right. Coming over here, hitting a P-switch. To note there, another achievement moon we go for is actually 25 timer challenges. You get one, I believe, for 10 and one for 25. There's only 33 in the game.
And we hit that one dead on.
We hit exactly 25. So, because I remember Snow Kingdom was one of those kingdoms where we were like, do we really need to bring peace to this kingdom? Like, you get all 3 timer challenges in Snow, so it makes it even more worth it.
Yeah, some of them we go like way over. Like there's an achievement for getting 5 moons from birds, and I think we get 9. So some of them are like that, but there are a couple that we hit dead on.
I think we actually get possibly 10 bird moons. Believe it or not, there's a 5, but there's not a 10 bird achievement for whatever reason. With
So
that,
here's
see,
Peach.
yeah, best Peach. That's best Peach. She wins. She's got it in that, and we'll see it later in Cat Kingdom as well. I also get Tiara, Cappy's little sister, along for the ride as well.
Yeah, we weren't just rescuing Peach this time. Tiara was there with her, but Spike brought it up way back when we were first here in Snow Kingdom. You're actually going to see in a couple of rooms here is a couple of things have changed in this room ever since the first time you would be going through here casually. But what's going to happen is because we've done the Bound Bowl in this kingdom, the kingdom thinks that we've completed all of these rooms. So
Yes.
what's going to end up happening is a lot of the moons that you are going to, obviously the one with Rango, we talked about earlier, Ice Rango or Snow Rango being a myth. Some of these moons are going to already be sitting there as if you've done the requirements for these sub-areas. They're just going to be sitting there. So Kerbis is going to be going in, not having to do any pick-up, no moon shards, don't have to beat Rango another time, just pick the moon up and go to the next room.
And the other nice thing is the moon rock adds 1 extra moon to all 4 of these rooms. So we're only
Yes.
going to go in 3 of them.
Yep.
Kind of the other interesting thing about Snow is it's the only kingdom that has moons that you do get in any percent, but you don't get in Darker Side.
Yeah, normally you would go to the Goomba stacking room on the bottom right door. It's fast enough because initially when you go to Snow, there are like no moons available.
Yeah, I think there's only like 15 or less available.
So
And
we work with what we've got.
You need 10 of them, so yeah, it's just a matter of having a not very good selection. But since we open the moon rock and get peace and everything, that adds a ton of moons to the kingdom. So those Goomba moons wind up not being fast enough for Darker Side. That's something we didn't realize until somewhat recently. It's one of the more recent changes to the route.
Yeah, there's been a handful of moons that have changed recently.
So
Nice capture that guy.
That moon that's sitting there is the one that you would get from fighting Rango on this arena, and it's just chilling there. You know?
It's so weird that the game's like, oh, well, we think you've beaten Rango now, but then why? It's such a backwards way because you couldn't have beat Rango, you couldn't have that moon, but we've already brought peace to the kingdom, but you're supposed to already have that moon. It's weird. So it sets off some weird flags in the game, and it's the same in this room. As you mentioned, there are normally 5 moon shards you have to collect in this room. It treats it as if you've already collected all of them, and the moon's already spawned up there. So here's the bonus moon we get for coming here after hitting the moon rock.
Love this little vertical climb that we're going to be seeing Kerbis do right here.
I apparently came up with this strat. None of you idiots did
Really?
it. Yeah, that right there. Literally just utilizing the backflip.
Hitting Z
Just-
and then A.
Yeah, they were like, holy crap, dude. There's a document they actually used in Super Mario Odyssey speedrunning, best theoretical time or best possible. I forget what they call it.
Yeah, best theoretical time.
where you can actually, if you want to contribute to a document, even if it's just like 5 seconds of movement, that's how they piece together how they could cut the one in any percent. And they've done a little bit of work for the other categories, but I guess that's my only contribution ever to the best theoretical time. No one else just did the backflip there for some reason.
That's the thing about Darker Side is there's so many little pieces of movement and so many variations on things that you can do that one person alone can't optimize this category. It really does take a community.
Yeah. We have literally thousands of people, even like, you know, beyond the heydays of Odyssey when it first came out. There's still dozens and dozens of active runners of this game in all sorts of different categories. People going for world record in different categories. But we always want more people running this game, trying out. One of the greatest strengths I've always said about this game, it is as long as you want it to be. If you want an hour-long category, an hour-and-a-half-long category, a 2-hour category, 3.5 hours, 7.5 hours, 12 hours, you can find a category that is good for, like, you know, the length you're looking for.
Now, this little wall jump that Kerbis is going to be going
It's
for.
so weird.
It's so strange because unless Kerbis is going to be doing something that I'm not aware of, maybe there's some tech to this. For some reason, when you pop out of this, I can't remember the name. The Typhoon.
The Typhoon.
The Typhoon.
The Blowy
yeah.
Joey.
Blowy Joey.
Blowy Joey, yeah. For some reason, if you notice, okay, see
Yeah,
how
he got it first try.
he got it first try. Sometimes when you pop out of that Blowy Joey, Mario won't automatically kind of clip to the wall. You'll see him kind of do that slide where you can then jump off the wall, throw Cappy, and dive on top. For some reason, sometimes when you pop out, he doesn't initially grab the wall, so you have to recapture the Blowy Joey, then pop back out again, and now we're back in Cascade Kingdom.
Yeah. There's actually a jump you can do that you can get up to that platform with the painting on it without using the Typhoon, but it's a really stupid, inconsistent jump that nobody can do consistently. So there's a route to use it that would save a few seconds, but nobody does it, as far as I know.
Ooh, a timer challenge and across the floating aisles first man.
Yeah, this is another like little route variation that is pretty much the same speed, just a preference thing.
Yeah, these being 2 moons that don't spawn in, as you can see from the moon rock. And then we'll be on our way back, making sure we hit the moon rock and grab a few other moons on the way down.
So something we've kind of glossed over to this point is the paintings. Most of the kingdoms, not all of them, are linked by these paintings. There's 2 in the kingdoms that have them, one that leads from another kingdom and one that leads to another kingdom. And rather than taking the Odyssey in between kingdoms for the post-game, we're going to do the large majority of it by going through these paintings. And what that allows us to do is not sit and watch the cutscene of depositing moons into the Odyssey every time we want to go to a new kingdom. And what it's going to result in is one very giant moon dump.
Yeah.
Of like 250 moons, roughly.
It also, I believe, skips the cutscene where if you enter a new kingdom, where Cappy will point out where the moon rock is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's another little thing that it skips. So
This room is the bane of my existence.
This is such a tough sub area. Clouds are terrible.
Yeah, it's all the cloud platforms' fault. They're the worst thing in the game. I try to avoid them as much as possible. Thankfully, it's fast to do so, to not use the cloud platforms.
Yeah, like you'll see him come down here on the way to the second moon. He's basically just going to go to the side and avoid all of them.
Triple jump around these ones, just anywhere possible. I'm going to not touch these cloud platforms, even go out to the side and make sure my cap doesn't hit them, because they're the worst thing.
Cappy likes to lock on to them, even if you just throw them out, you're trying to dive onto them. But really well done sub area right there. I know, it's a bad sub area. I hate it. But it's fast enough, so it's in the route. Making sure he goes through the checkpoint right here. Backing himself up just a little bit.
I'm not going to get my cap back in time.
Yeah, you...
Oh,
Oh, that's basically... Yeah, you got the same speed.
And same thing, I'm going to triple jump around these. I'm only going to use one of these cloud platforms.
Yeah, you're going to need one to reliably be able to get back at all. But now he's going to utilize that one as he turns around, jump on it, and that's going to give him just enough distance for the full extension on long jump, cap dive, cap dive.
And this is the 2D section that you skipped by using the dino jump at the very beginning of the game. Normally you'd have to climb up this to get to the Madame Brood fight. But here it's good because now with the moon rock broken open, it has the Snows moon in it, so we can get the 2-for-1.
And again, does want 10 8-bit moons. I believe the route gets 10 or 11.
I think it gets exactly 10. I think your route gets...
Yeah, I
extra
get one different one because I can't buffer spin pound at all. But yeah, on to our next Peach right here as well.
Overall Peach? I think she's wearing overalls in this kingdom.
No, I think overalls
wears
is
it.
just luncheon.
Yeah, it's just
Is it
luncheon.
just luncheon? What outfit?
All right, this move's terrible. Let's see if he gets
Oh,
it
yeah,
first
this
try.
is
Oh, hey.
So the old setup we did for this, it wasn't even a setup. We just like pulled back and flung and hoped for the best. It was luck based, whether or not it would break open that rock. But shout out to Schultzar. He found a way to kind of push yourself up against one of these bones behind Peach here, and it pushes the chain chomp closer to that rock so that when you pull all the way back, you're guaranteed to hit it as long as you line yourself up correctly. So no longer a luck-based moon. And that's one that loses quite a bit of time if you mess it up, and I've seen people get like 7th, 8th try.
Yup.
It was
I've
terrible.
done that.
Yeah, thankfully we did eventually find a way to make that consistent.
Now gonna try. Oh no, because that's why you do the reroute. So you can just drop
Right.
straight down. It's a minor thing also that happened earlier, just to make it not look like a mistake by Kerbis. A couple things he did earlier. He actually broke those rocks with the T-Rex over there that was to his right, so that moon, which is aimed under the ground, by the way. Don't be hard on the devs. They had to name 880 of these because that's the only moon that was under the ground. Made sure he broke the rock so then he could just get that as Mario before having to recapture the T-Rex.
Yeah.
And he also captured the large chain chomp earlier. You need 35 captures for an achievement moon at the end. That is the kind of making up for one, making sure you just get one. I believe that's the only one you captured just to get the capture.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of the other moons we get, you could do some of them captureless, but it just works out to having 34 captures the way I do it, so I need one extra one to hit that achievement moon.
And what you saw right there, you might be wondering, why was that moon a different color? That was the moon from a hint art that we read
Yes,
earlier. So
right.
that is an example of a hint art moon right there.
That was actually the that was the first hint
Yeah.
art we saw, and that's the first hint art moon
Correct.
we get.
And
That's cool.
yeah, the hint arts are classified as moons from the kingdom that the hint art is in, not the kingdom that the moon is in, and every kingdom has its own special moon color. That's the other cool thing, the moon dump we do, just so happens to be in Luncheon Kingdom, which has the best moon color.
Ooh, almost going for the bonus hat. I like it.
Yeah, you can like hold right, like buffer holding right to scroll really fast over to the moon when you open that menu, but if you don't mash fast enough, then for like time your A press, then it'll scroll over too far. So that happens sometimes.
The worst moons in this game, to note, are anything involving animals.
Oh.
Fish, bunnies, birds, they're the worst.
Yeah. And
So-
bunnies, thankfully by now we have pretty good strats
For all of them.
for all of them, all the ones that we need to do in this run at least. I'm not sure about all of the bunnies, or if there even are any that all
I
need
feel like
splits.
we get every bunny in the game.
We might.
I think we actually do.
They just
'Cause
happen to be fast.
Ruined and Cloud don't have any. They're nice because they don't have slow cutscenes tied to them. It's just hit the bunny, and then he does a little thing to pop it out. That's about it. So with that, we're going into Bowser 2. This is actually where I'm ducking out of commentary for the night. We have an early flight to catch. But I want to thank Kerbis and Kyber. Thank you for having me
Absolutely.
here.
Thank you, Spike.
Just a little over halfway through the run, and GG. Keep throwing down for a Super Mario Odyssey triple bingo for
That's right.
SGL 2020. See you guys.
Later, Spike. Thank you.
All right, yeah, we are about halfway through the run at this point. So we're going to keep going through the rest of these kingdoms on second visits. I think we've got maybe 6 or 7 kingdoms on the painting chain, and then we have to visit a couple more that don't have paintings but have a lot of fast moons in them.
Yeah, that's when we're going to be getting that fabled moon dump before we head back to some of those kingdoms that don't have paintings.
Yeah, it's Cap Kingdom, Lost Kingdom, and Moon Kingdom that we have to visit separately. They're like small kingdoms, so I guess they just decided to not include them in the painting chain for whatever reason.
And it's actually surprising, despite their how small Cap and Lost Kingdom are, there's actually quite a few moons that you can actually go back there and get. It is kind of unfortunate, like you said, that they are a little smaller and you don't get to use the painting there because you could potentially get a huge moon dump if that was the case. But we're going to be taking the Odyssey there, I believe, after Luncheon.
Yeah, we're actually going to take 3 visits to Luncheon. So we'll finish the painting chain at Luncheon and then go visit those extra side kingdoms, then come back to Luncheon and then take the painting from Luncheon to Mushroom. And that'll be like the last kingdom of the run before the darker side, where we get all the achievements and round out the 500 total.
That's actually a very impressive triple jump there. You have to kind of weave your way past that sign in between the spikes and get yourself over that poison. Because, again, that is the purple poison from Lost that will instantly kill you if you touch it. So
yeah, that's a tricky one just because those torches are in the way. So you have to kind of let yourself slowly roll around them. Make sure you don't bonk. And like when you come out of a roll, you have more momentum. So that's why you want to have a lot of momentum on that triple jump in order to make it up to that ledge.
Here's another bunny.
Nice spin throw will take care of that one.
Yeah, those spin throws as you're rolling, it's one of the only times, actually the only way, that you can keep Cappy out while you're rolling. So throwing one of those spin throws and then going through your rolls just using shakes is a good way to get those bunny moons. Is hitting the bunny with the cap doesn't actually give you the moon, but it will slow the bunny down enough that you can run over, touch him with Mario, and he'll give you your moon. Right there, you may be wondering for that moon, you can use just the rumble feature for that. Basically, what you want to use for that moon is the two birds that you saw Kerbis roll up to. If you kind of make a little triangle with the birds, that's where that moon is going to be. So
yeah, it's a nice little visual cue there. But yeah, otherwise you would just have to. The rumble won't activate unless you slow down almost to a complete stop. But that's how you're supposed to get moons like that. There's a few of them in the run. The controller will rumble stronger when you're standing right over the spot where the moon is. So if you know where it is, you can just kind of run up and grab it.
So this is a cool little example of a moon that I don't think was in the initial route, because a lot of people didn't think that, okay, this moon's kind of slow. You have to take this Jizo all over to hit these switches, but you can just jump straight up to grab that moon once you've spawned it, and then
spin to win.
Yep, little spin throw out there, and you don't even need the backflip. I actually thought that you needed the backflip. You could just do a quick little spin jump there and get right out and warp over to the island that the souvenir shop is on with Kimono Peach.
Like I talked about with the checkpoints, we've already warped to 3 different checkpoints in this kingdom, and I think we're going to warp to 3 more before it's over.
I love the little Boo hair clip that she's got.
That is a nice touch. I'll give you that.
Heading in here for another shop moon.
We just stand on the counter. They don't mind.
OTEP. Another OTEP. We're really adamant about buying that moon. Like, we are on the desk. Give me a moon, man. I gotta get out of here.
So yeah, this is Bowser's Kingdom. It's broken up into these little islands, so you just gotta warp around and grab 2 or 3 moons, warp to the next island. Kind of weird. It's the only kingdom that's really like this.
And the cool thing about those pylon moons is you can actually change, once you've touched the moon, you can actually send Mario back the direction you came. You don't have to actually go all the way across and then come back. It's a cool little touch that they put in the game to kind of save you a little bit of time.
Yeah. Even that moon still would be pretty fast if you had to traverse back over that zip line, but thankfully you can just hold the direction you want to go while the moon cutscene is playing and you'll come back.
And we have a Phantom Pokio. The hat spawned in, but the Pokio isn't.
Yeah, you can. That's another place you can camera manipulate to get that Pokio to spawn in sooner, but the camera is really weird going around corners sometimes, so I don't like to risk that just because it's kind of a precarious jump.
Really nice Pokio movement, getting the last note there with the beak extension. And
don't worry, that Pokio is not going to die because I'm going to warp away before I get the chance. So it lived, don't worry.
He's there for eternity.
Trust me, yeah, he's stuck there. He's not on the screen, so he's stuck. That's how this game works.
I thought if it was not on screen, he doesn't exist.
Well,
so you may have not killed him, but you've now caused him to not exist.
Oh, man. Birdie's going to fly away.
Oh, we're going to have to deload this area. Nope, never mind.
So I kind of like, I wasn't going to miss that bird on purpose, but I was kind of hoping I would miss it just so I could do that. If you just stand on the spot where the bird is and go into first person mode, as soon as it like is out of view, it'll respawn right underneath you and grab it.
That fall always feels scary, even though it's real easy to get inside there. Man, when you come off that, out of that pipe and then just basically jump into oblivion, you could fall so far in Bowser's because there's so much verticality in the kingdom. You actually fall pretty far.
Yeah, there's a bunch of moons like that where the game wants you to do this little platforming quest to get to a moon, but they just, I don't know if it was neglect or if they just didn't care, but a lot of moons you can just drop off the side of high up places and fall onto a moon, and that's one of them. Otherwise, that moon would be super slow.
And that will conclude Bowser 2. We're going to be heading into Seaside 2, which is the clip that we brought up a little bit ago. And this is the most free clip in the game. If you have Odyssey at home for your Nintendo Switch, you can boot Odyssey up right now and do exactly what Kerbis is doing. Trust me, it is as free as it looks. We'll see that here in a little bit.
I'll give you guys the tutorial as I go.
You could speedrun Odyssey after this run.
That's right.
Easy as that.
Really, though, this game is relatively easy to pick up and just get a run completed. So if you're looking for an easy game to get into, maybe as your first speed run, any percent in particular is a really good first speed run, I would say.
It was my first speed run. I can attest.
Yeah, it was a lot of people's first run, and I think a lot of people who have since branched out into other things even. So it's a really good thing to get your feet wet as I dive into the water.
Oh, you did that on purpose. I refuse to believe you didn't do that on purpose. Cool little homage here to Super Mario 64.
Yeah, the same chest order as in Jolly Roger Bay.
It's cute. Warping over here to the lighthouse. We're going to warp here actually a couple of times for the next couple of moons as Kerbis is going to be using our friend Glydon here.
He's going to come meet up with his best friend, Mr. Snail. And they're going to have a party.
Yeah, all this snail wants is like, man, I just really want to see a guy who can fly, and you grant him that wish.
Look how happy he is.
So
He gives you a moon for it.
just to ask for anyone in chat that might be curious, if they were looking to pick up any percent, about how many moons are you looking at for any percent?
Any percent's 124, so about a quarter of the moons of this category.
Yeah, basically, the any percent route would have ended when Kerbis defeated Bowser and shot away on that final pylon. And it is 124 moons. It is much less. You're not going to see many boss fights in it. You're also going to see but you're not going to see any revisits. So, especially any percent is, I want to say, oh man, how many entrants there on the leaderboards have there been for any percent at this point?
I think it's pushing 1,700.
Yeah, there is a ton of entrants, and again, you know, just because you see that many entrants on a leaderboard, it should never deter you. I mean, there's so many different, like as Spike talked about earlier, there's so many different variations of the route that you can do, jumps that you've seen Kerbis do, and maybe some of the other any percent runners that you can pull up on the leaderboard, watch their PBs. A lot of that stuff you don't have to go for right away.
All that means is there's always going to be someone close to your skill level that you can collaborate with, someone that you can learn from. You know, it can be very incremental as you want it to be. And also, always people who are going to be willing to help you. That's the greatest benefit of a game that just is run by so many people.
And the cool thing about this game, having as many people that have run it so far, is that there's so many resources that you get to use, so many spreadsheets and things you get to use, so. I'm being handed something by JC. Okay, here we go. All right, the exact count for submitted runs for Super Mario Odyssey any percent. What's that? Accepted runs, I'm sorry. 1,669.
Yeah,
So there you go. 1,669
I think
accepted runs.
I think it's the second most run category of any game behind SM64 16 star.
That doesn't surprise me. Getting another shot moon here. You have to be careful to not land on that snail.
Yeah. If you land on the snail, he will literally cower in his shell for like 7 seconds. And that's not an exaggeration. It's one of the worst like single time losses for something so silly. And that's another place where if the gush-in is too close, he'll also be scared. But with that, as soon as the gush-in is kind of out of range, he'll come out of his shell. But the other thing with that shop is once you buy the moon, it resets the cycle. Like, that shop is floating around the kingdom. But when you buy the moon, it resets the cycle. So it kind of conveniently dumps you off right in that spot to capture this Cheep Cheep, which is pretty nice.
You saw one of those cursed Cheep Cheep little jiggle bonks.
Right, and coming up is going to be that clip Piper was talking about. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. You can probably take what I tell you right now, boot up your game, and get this clip. in a short amount of time. So right after I grab this moon, all I'm going to do is I'm going to swim up against kind of the barrier of Seaside Kingdom. There's like an invisible wall, so that, you know, you can't just swim off into the abyss. You want to get as close to that as possible, so you want to, it has to be on this corner as well. So you want to spin dash into that barrier, move a little bit away from the Cheep Cheep, and then capture it and immediately swim into the floor, and you'll go through the wall. And from here, you can do a lot of crazy stuff. You can swim underneath the entire floor of Seaside Kingdom. You can go wherever you want pretty much, but for our purposes, we're just going to grab that moon from out of bounds and then enter this loading zone from out of bounds.
Yeah, the reason why Kerbis is actually able to grab that moon from out of bounds is you saw him do that little bit of a spin attack, basically. When you do the spin attack as a Cheep Cheep, it extends your hitbox in all directions, which is also why he was able to pick that one moon up above his head that he popped up. So
yeah, that spin attack has a huge range. Oh.
Yeah, now we got two Cheep Cheeps that are feeling a little dizzy. I love that strat, too, because you're getting Cappy on the return, but because it comes across the Cheep Cheep first, he actually just sucks you right into the Cheep Cheep. And here's our second Dory, picking that moon up. And now more of these seaweed guys that...
The 5-star Dragon Ball, nice.
Like that.
Here I'm going to try to turn my camera down. There's a bunny up on that top platform that I want to get later, and if my camera's in a weird position or in the wrong position, that bunny will run away from me later. So I think I should be okay.
Yeah, there's this weird mechanic with the bunnies where when the bunny spots you, or basically when you get within a close amount of close proximity to the bunny, he alerts to you but doesn't run away right away. But if you can somehow time it to where he is alerted, but you're also working your way towards him, it gives him less amount of time for him to run away from you. That's what Kerbis was trying to avoid there. More camera manipulation is what I'm trying to say here, as he wants to not have this eel spawn in.
And I took damage anyway, so, well, it's going to get refilled here, but I still don't want to get hit by the eagle. So if I did this right, I'll get out of here before the eel comes out. Yeah, there we go. So you just got to keep your camera turned down until you get close, and then turn it up at the right time, and then the eel has a little timer that once you kind of look at him, a few seconds later it'll come out. So it kind of works out perfectly there to get out of there without taking any damage. And like we said, every time you take damage, it's going to lose you about 2.5 seconds. So you want to avoid that as much as possible. Unless you're about to grab a multi-moon, then it doesn't really matter.
And this is what Kerbis was working with earlier. That bunny you can see down on the right side of your screen at the very bottom of this chalice.
Yeah, if I approached it the wrong way, he would be running by now. So instead I can just drop down from on top. That's our bunny strat for this kingdom. And then take this cushion over this jet stream here.
Cool little placement, I think, for this this painting. It's actually inside the chalice at the very bottom. Conveniently right next to a power moon after you get a power moon from Peach.
Yeah, so like I said, like once we got into the post game, the moon collection rate is just skyrocketing. These moons are all over the place. Some of them are moon rock moons, and some of them are just ones we didn't pick up on the first visit that maybe appeared after getting peace in the kingdom, or just ones that were a little bit out of the way. So there's one kingdom that I didn't get peace in yet, and it's Wooded Kingdom. So the reason I didn't get peace is because we get dumped out up near the top of the kingdom, which is where the second boss arena is. So rather than climbing up here after getting put back down by the Odyssey after Spewert, we can just collect other moons. That's why we go to the Deep Woods first visit as well, because it gives us extra moons. And the Moon Rock doesn't spawn any new moons in the Deep Woods, so it's a good place to kind of just get out of the way early. And then we can get dumped out here, and we're right at the arena. We just gotta get this story moon here, and then we can fight Torque Drift. And then once I finish this fight, we'll have peace in every kingdom. And that is one of the achievement moons we get as well, just achieving world peace.
And Torque Drift, unfortunately, is, I believe, the only, well, one of the only bosses that simply does not have a quick kill option. You've seen Kerbis do a couple of them where he speeds up these invulnerability cycles. As far as we know, runners have tried basically everything you could possibly imagine to try to speed up this fight, and there's just nothing. Nintendo just wants you to fight Torque Drift the normal way.
The only really little thing you can do is manipulate the uproot capture to get a little more speed with it, but it's a pretty small difference. I'll show you what I mean though. So if you watch right now, if I jump, I kind of land and then stall for half a second or whatever. But once I take out these, I can try to get faster uproot speed where I won't get stalled when I land. I'll just keep running, which helps out on the next 2 phases. So if I land on this platform at the right spot, like on the edge, there we go. So now I have faster uproot speed, and then I can get a little bit faster even by jumping off of it. I don't think I got it. That's okay.
And just micromanaging this fight.
It allows us to get to this before it starts moving, which is a nice little perk. But it doesn't save too much time, but it's something. It's about all you can do on this fight to make it go faster.
Torque Drift's kind of the nice little break where you're about 2 hours into the run. You're like, all right, well, I can't speed up this fight, so maybe just kind of go over the route in your head. Maybe think about what you want to get to eat after the run. Maybe I'll order some pizza.
And to maintain this speed, you want to keep moving at all times. If you stop for any reason, you'll go back to the default slow speed.
Very important.
Okay, and I got the full extension up through Torque Drift. That's another thing that can happen when you have the faster speed.
And that is world peace. So we will be getting an extra moon from Toadette when we eventually see her.
Yeah, so kind of one of the last big cutscenes of the game as well. It's a nice little breather. I like having Torque Drift here for that reason, because it's a pretty, nonchalant fight. There's not a whole lot you got to think about, and you get a little bit of a cutscene breather. It's a little over halfway through the run, so it's just a nice little break point.
Especially because there is some stuff in this wooded 2 split that is pretty intense. So
The next few kingdoms in general are some of the hardest in the run.
that's my favorite bunny strat. Just smack him in the face with a rock.
Yep. So that's what we were talking about earlier, how you can break a rock on another rock. That's another fast way to break those open if you don't have a dino nearby.
And to note just the difference between the routes. In any percent, those are the first 2 moons you get when you come to this kingdom. So
yeah, and the shot moon as well. It's the first
right,
3. So
first 3, yeah.
It was kind of jarring when we made the route this way, because it's like one of the first things. It's like 20 minutes into an any percent run, if even that. And here we are, like over 2 hours in. Just over 2 hours into this run, and we're doing that same progression of moons. It always feels a little weird.
And it's all about, like, we've been talking about these moon rocks and the fact that you're coming back to these kingdoms.
Very important. I just got that roll through the tree trunk without roll canceling to stop my momentum. It's actually kind of tricky. It's very easy to bonk there, trying to roll into that little hole.
Getting up. Getting another hint art there. That one will be for Sand Kingdom.
Yeah, and that's actually the reason we went to Wooded first way back when, because if we went to Lake first, then we would have gone to Sand 2 before Wooded 2, meaning we would have to get that hint art in the first visit if we wanted that moon. And it's just an awkward thing to get. It's faster to go to that hint art from the Moon Rock rather than from the Odyssey. So that's the entire reason I went to Wooded first. It's like a 3-second time save.
That's another one of those moons. That one up in the crate on that tree. That was one of the last moons that I got casually. It took me forever to figure out where that X on my map was trying to guide me.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden up there.
And this moon here that he just shot out with this tank. So this moon here, if you remember way back when we were here in Wooded Kingdom the first time, Kerbis went for that clip that he didn't get after hitting that nut inside the tunnel. That's actually the moon that you would be going after. You actually clip up through the rocks and get that moon. So big jump here heading over to Captain Toad, and Kerbis got it.
And this jump is amazing because you can get to the top of the kingdom, the very highest point of the kingdom with this jump, because this pipe right here takes you there. Otherwise, you would have to do this really slow timer challenge thing where you bring a seed over. Well, you don't have to bring a seed over. You just have to press a button and do a timer challenge, and it brings you up to the top. But otherwise, we can take this pipe, grab this checkpoint, and we now have access to the highest point in the kingdom, which is, like in Lost Kingdom, super useful.
Because you could basically fall to the rest of where all these moons are. Another nut. Break that one with a spin pound.
With style. So yeah, we can use that checkpoint to warp up later, which I will. And yeah, we just have, it's always good to have access to the highest point in the kingdom, especially in one with such verticality like Wooded Kingdom.
Second nut in a row.
Don't worry, we've got more.
Oh, we got plenty more. And this is another thing. We talked about this, I believe the first one in Mushroom Kingdom, the Goombet moons. I like to call these the catfish moons because you're basically catfishing Goombet here.
Yeah, so this is the same kind of thing you would have to do in Mushroom Kingdom if you couldn't do that jump. You'd have to stack up enough to be on eye level with her. She needs to be able to see a Goomba directly across from her. Even that one we manipulate a little bit by looking at her and then turning backwards and going up on that little mound. Otherwise, you need one more Goomba to reach her height.
Nut around the corner. That is actually what that moon is called. The nut around the corner.
The nut at the dead end, the nut around the corner, the nut on the tall fence. That's how they're all named. This one's the nut in the robot storeroom. Very original and creative, I know. But hey, like Spike said, they had to name 880 of them. Let's give them a little bit of a break.
I always wondered that when they were going through this game. All right, how many moons do you want? 880. Do they all need to be uniquely named? Yes.
Yeah, because no, like, well, I guess other games do name stars and stuff. It's just not so blatantly displayed when you collect them. This is another kind of challenging room. I should still be able to get the fastest cycle here, but we'll see.
Yeah, you should get it. Yeah, the fuzzies are in the right spot, but again, that's just a tight cycle that you're trying to get, but you can use the damage boost to recover it nicely there, so.
Call that like the half cycle. We'll take that. And here I'm going to use that warp to get back to the top of the kingdom. There's a couple more things we can do up here. Firstly, Peach is up here. So normally to get to that Toad Moon, that Captain Toad Moon out on the island, you would have to come up here the normal way and take Glide On and fly. That's the way you're supposed to get over there, but just with a nice vector jump off of that ramp, you can make it there pretty safely.
A little bit of a scary moon here. As you're seeing why it's a scary moon, you're going to have to take the warp back up to the top. Yep. What Kerbis is trying to do, he's actually trying to dive on top of that nut. You can actually get on top of it. There's just enough of a gap in between the ceiling and where that nut is.
You can even just be to the side like this and just break it that way as well. So yeah, from here, we're actually also on a bird cycle. I think the first kind of instance of this, there's a bird roaming around the entire kingdom right now that I'm going to try to meet up with and get a moon from. So I got to make sure I don't have to be super fast. It's somewhat lenient, but got to be somewhat cognizant of where that bird is.
Because missing the bird is a pretty nasty time loss.
Yeah, it pretty much just means you got to get a backup moon, which is going to lose you 20 seconds or so somewhere else.
So again, all the way through this red maze where he's picking up this moon, inside of the red maze, the nut in the red maze. He's going to be picking up these moon shards, and this entire time that bird is flying around. So when he comes out of this red maze, you're going to see Kerbis flip his camera around. He's actually looking to see where the positioning of the bird is to see whether or not he should possibly wait out the bird or go and get the next moon that's in his route. So you're going to see it right here. He's going to spin the camera around and see where that bird is.
Vibe check. It was way back there, so we're good.
Way back there, so. Going to elect to do this timer challenge. By the time we get back, we should be in perfect time for this bird. Get Cappy back off the Scarecrow.
Because I had to do the second warp, we're actually super early compared to normal. Because like normally you'd talk to Peach and then do all this stuff, so we kind of had more leniency here. And I'm going to do a little bit of a scary thing. The Deep Woods is right below me, so not fall in that.
Yeah, this is the instance where you do not want to be falling in the Deep Woods. So this Fire Bro is going to get... Okay, he's going to get a shot in on us, but that's all right. We won. Right. Lost the battle, won the war.
This is a tricky one because, again, it's a place where you don't have Cappy, so you don't have maximum control over where you're going.
And again, just one of those little minute time losses there. That 2 seconds to fill Mario's heart, or his health back up. They add up, especially if you take a lot of damage during your run. So
this room's kind of interesting. There's a somewhat not understood clip that can happen that I think I've only gotten maybe 4 or 5 times ever. I kind of understand what you need to do to get it, but it's really weird and hard. So I don't expect it to happen here, but it could happen. Yeah. Basically, if you run into this wall in a way that you grab the moon while you're like getting forced out of the capture of the Bullet William, as I like to call them.
Bullet William.
You'll get clipped through the ceiling, and so you don't have to go around that little wall. You can just go up through the ceiling and then drop down onto that second moon.
Basically similar physics to the clip-in Cascade, right? Where you're kind of being clipped through the ceiling.
It's something similar. I think it's a little different, though.
Okay.
Because I think it has to do with being released from the capture rather than actually... It does have to do with touching the moon, but that's not the only factor.
Picking up another timer challenge here. The painting that we're actually going to be going through is that little little piece of metal that you saw sticking up. The painting's right on that. So going to be getting this moon and then one more timer challenge, and we'll be heading into that painting. And that is Wooded Kingdom.
Yeah, this is kind of the beginning of the really tough gauntlet in this category. That went pretty well other than missing that one nut.
Really good. So one quick extra warp, and we are back into Sand Kingdom, and we are going to be here for a while because there are plenty of moons to get here in Sand. So
this is a huge kingdom, and the moon rock gives you like 40 new ones or something, and we're going to get a lot of them.
Another different optimization here for any percent. This moon right here is the third moon that you get in the any percent route, and we are 2 hours and 13 minutes into a Darker Side run, and that is the moon we got there. So get just big deviations in the order in which you get these moons based on the route. So
this bunny you can roll right into.
Now, will you get the other two bunnies on the rollout, though?
Nope.
Nope.
They're two out of the way. So yeah, those ones, only one of those bunnies will give you a moon. The other ones just give you coins. So you just got to know which one has the moon.
So we talked about animal moons in this game being a little bit of a pain. So this is our good friend Nintendog. So what Kerbis is doing here is he's trying to keep Nintendog on screen because, again, 101 in Mario Odyssey, if it is not on the screen, it does not exist. So here, just getting a moon where Toad's asking you to play a song based on around a vague hint or a theme that he gives you. And
yeah, this one's boss fight music.
Yeah, this is boss fight music. And so basically this whole movement here, you're seeing Kerbis manipulate his camera to keep that dog on screen. What that dog is doing is it's running to a specific predetermined spot and digging up a moon. But if your camera gets off of Nintendog, he doesn't progress in what he's doing. So
yeah, so this movement can look a little awkward, but it's all in an effort to get that dog to dig up that moon as fast as possible. Otherwise, you can be waiting here for 4 or 5 seconds. And there it is.
Perfect.
Little glowing spot. Oh, gotta dive there. Oh, now he's gonna stand on it.
Oh no, Nintendo, get out of the way!
Took Cappy too.
He took Cappy! Oh, we gotta reset.
Give me that.
There we go. He just wants to be your friend, Kerbis.
He just wanted to play fetch, but
he's cute.
Now is not the time. We can play later.
He's a little sheep with a hat. Can't get any cuter than that. Nice up throw there.
So once again, gonna do some camera manipulation. There's a platform off behind me to the right that I want to be moving in a certain way. So I'm gonna capture this Goomba. We're gonna do another Goombet moon and then turn the camera back, and this platform will come, arrive, and start moving the other direction right when I land on it.
Here's another Goombet moon. This is actually the only kingdom in the game that has 2 Goombet moons. She starts off here, and then after you get this moon, she'll respawn again way in the far back last little ledge. We're actually going to go past it while we're on Jaxi, so.
They're actually both just available.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah. One of them is Moonrock, though, and I think one is a World Peace.
Ah, that's what it is. Okay. I always thought that you had to get this one first to get the other one, but.
Yeah, no, they're just competing with each other. They're not the same Goombet. We got some syndrome.
All right.
And then also here, I'm kind of doing another camera manipulation where there's a bird flying around Jaxi Ruins here. So I want to keep my camera turned towards here to make sure that bird keeps moving as much as I can.
And this was the moon earlier that Spike was talking about, where this moon's very, very tough to get without motion controls because it's a very tight cycle before that bullet bill explodes.
Probably the toughest moon to get without motion controls.
Hey guys, pardon me for butting in for just a second, but my shift is about over for the night. Just wanted to thank you for letting me ride along to the Mario Odyssey run. Twitch chat, thank you for accompanying me on this ride. My name is Vendrith. It's been fun. I'm going to be passing the mic off. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vendrith. And here is that Jaxi, the little mini gauntlet that I mentioned earlier. So he's going to hit this bird, not pick up the moon, jump off Jaxi, start this timer challenge, jump back on Jaxi, and grab all 3 of these moons in quick succession without getting off of Jaxi. Meanwhile, he's fighting with his camera the whole time here. His camera's trying to pull him in a specific direction, so he's fighting against it.
I'm going to get that one after.
Yep.
Yeah, the camera always wants to be looking towards the timer challenge. It wants to show you where you're supposed to be going. So even there, you could see it was fighting me a little bit. And Jaxi's already very sporadic and hard to control to begin with.
Yeah, Jaxi's one of those difficult things where Jaxi's incredibly fast, which is why we incorporate it into the run, but it's almost impossible to slow Jaxi down without doing this little break move here. But once you do it, Jaxi doesn't come to a complete stop. He just kind of slows down and kind of runs in place and can still move a little bit and slide back and forth. So
Still acts pretty sporadic.
yeah. Coming over to the Oasis area, we'll be getting our next fishing moon. Do you still get questions about, are you really, like, is there really no moon faster than the fishing moon?
Fishing moons, the problem with fishing moons is they're really fast if you get a first bite. Most of them, they're around like 17 seconds or so, and there is another first bite, so we're 2 for 2.
Skill-based.
Yep, all skill. So I don't think I mentioned, but the kind of the cutoff for how fast a moon needs to be for Darker Side to be in the route is around 20 or 21 seconds. So not including story moons, because those are kind of just required just to unlock the moon rocks. Those ones are slow, obviously, but other than that, if the moon is slower than 21 seconds, then it's not going to be good enough for the route. And those ones with a first bite are around 17 seconds, and each bite extra is like 2 seconds or so. So even with like a third bite or so, they are fast enough for the route. So that's why they kind of, like if they were just barely fast enough with the first bite, we might not mess with them. But third bite or better is pretty common. We've tested it before, and it seems to be weighted to give you like a first or second bite more often. So it's pretty worth it to grab those. I'm gonna try to bounce off these bullet bills, but kind of tricky. Oh, I kind of got it, but
That's a nice little recovery there.
at least got up here in time because I got up there in a position that wouldn't shoot the bullet bills out of that cannon, so that's at least a little consolation. I was trying to get over to the left platform and go straight over here, but it didn't quite work out.
There's a couple of different ways that you can get that moon. So it's, again, like a lot of stuff in this run, just kind of personal preference. You could damage boost and bounce off the bullet bills. You could do the traditional way to get up there, or you could do what Kerbis just did.
I recaptured that pylon. I thought it was going to shoot me back down because it tends to do that if you recapture. Thankfully, it did not.
Tucking to Peach, and we're going to get this next moon underneath the ground. Ooh, almost got away there.
Almost. Slippery.
And somehow, some way, Jaxi is going to teleport up here.
Yep, you can call Jaxi from any of these little bus stops.
You know, now that I think about it, man, the Jaxi theme's a bop.
It is.
Man,
You don't get to hear it very much.
underrated song here in Mario Odyssey. Ah, don't worry, Jax will be fine.
Jaxi sticks the landing. Look at that. He's a pro.
Another hint art moon here. This one was the one we picked up in Wooded Kingdom. And this is a moon that hard requires Jaxi. You have to use Jaxi to bust that cactus open. You can see Goombet over there in the distance. That's how far you'd have to take your Goomba
Yeah.
to get that final Goombet moon. You can see her over there on the right.
That's the moon Spike was talking about earlier, where you can get the crazy momentum off the hills to get to over her faster. You have to travel quite a long ways, because the only Goombas in the kingdom, I think, are the ones by that area I was saying.
Now, if you play this game casually, right now what you're thinking is, oh my god, I can't believe you can get up there. Nintendo was smart. They put coins up there. So this is a totally intended little skip that they put.
Yeah, and it's very easy to get up there. It's not tight at all. It's inconspicuous, or it's conspicuous, I guess would be the word. Just because the black top kind of blends in with the ceiling, so you don't really notice it unless you're looking for it. But yeah, it's easy to get up there. Just roll across the top way faster. There's no way that sub area would be fast enough otherwise, I don't think.
No, flying through the maze is the bullet bill. There's no way, I don't think.
There's a few sub areas like that, kind of like the one in Bowser's, where if you're doing it the normal way, it's not going to make the cut. But with these little shortcuts, they become pretty fast. All right, and this is a very important part of the run right here.
Oh yeah, this is
my arch nemesis right here. And if I don't hit this sheep, the run is cursed.
Get out of here, sheep. Have you ever gotten the double hit?
No. The double hit would be bad because it doesn't go far enough. You would have to slow down to get a double hit. I wish you could.
I've seen some people get real close.
Yeah, I've gotten close a couple times, but it's usually because I took like an unoptimal line or something.
You can actually traverse these rooms without using...
Yeah, so you can capture these guys and put their sunglasses on. It'll show you where the solid pathways are, but if you know where they are, you can just jump on them. No problem. That's another good alternate extra capture you can get, other than the chain chomp, the big chain chomp that I got in Cascade. Just because you walk right by them.
Shaking like a madman here. You need to shake the entire time as hard as you can as Glider to maintain the height to grab that moon. It's very easy to just fly right underneath that moon if you don't keep the maximum altitude.
And thankfully, you don't have to like continuously shake. It's kind of a rhythm, but if you just continuously shake, you know, you're going to be more likely to not mess that up. Lose any height. Because yeah, for that moon in particular, if you lose any height at all, you're not going to get it.
Here is another hint art moon.
Bowser's. So yeah, this is the area with that other story moon. There's 5 moon shards you can collect here. So we're going to come over here and get some fast stuff, but we're not going to actually get the shards because they're way too slow. They're like on all the corners of this island. And here's also another place where I'm going to take a death warp because I want to go back to the tower, the top of the tower. And rather than, it's faster to do that than to pause and move the cursor over and warp. We had to come back up here one more time. Almost done with Sand Kingdom.
It's going to get 2 more moons in quick succession here. Spawn that one out of the box. Spin roll and dive over to this one. Before he takes a little slide down to the moon here in the alcove. Again, it's cool about Sand Kingdom is that a lot of these moons are just out in the open that you can basically just grab. We saw that one down there that we already got, but even the ones that are inside of boxes and things like that, because you have bullet bills that are flying around and you're spawning really high up, you can just use ground pounds to break them open, and Sand King is just really, really well optimized at this point. Again, another moon just kind of hovering out there in the distance. You take a bullet bill over there, fly up to it, and we're going to drop straight down into the painting, head into Metro Kingdom.
Yeah, all these kingdoms obviously are routed to go from painting to painting, so you kind of just make a loop around most of them and do whatever you need to wind up at the next painting to get to the next kingdom. So we're getting close to the end of the really challenging stretch. I would say like Wooded Sand Metro is a really brutal part of this run, and then it kind of slows down a little bit, gets a little more tame. But there's just, it's not even like too crazy looking of things. It's not like you're flying over all kinds of death gaps or anything. It's just there's a lot of things that can go wrong in these kingdoms. A lot of places to bonk if you're just ever so slightly off with your movement, especially Metro.
New Bonk City. So I believe this is actually a very slow moon. if I'm remembering correctly, but you're mainly getting this for the capture.
This one,
am I right?
Believe it or not, this one is fast enough. It makes the cut even capture stuff aside.
Oh, okay.
This is by far the fastest binocular moon, though. There's a few moons like this where you gotta look at something strange off in the distance, and all of the other ones are much too slow. But conveniently, this one just kind of barely makes the cut, and it gives us a capture, so it makes it even more worth it.
Picking up that seed moon that we planted, I want to say about an hour and 45 minutes ago.
Something like that.
And another hint art moon.
So this is a place where if I aim my motion throw correctly, it will go to that guy. Yeah, see. Otherwise, it can hit that stop sign, or it can hit like something
The
on the
scooter.
other end. Yeah, the scooter. But if you position your hat right and aim your homing throw, then you can actually capture the RC car guy. And that's another moon that like you could get captureless, and in a vacuum is faster to do it that way, but because you get the capture, it kind of makes it more worth it. Because you can kind of value a capture at like 2 or 3 seconds. So if a moon gives you also a capture, then you can consider it 2 or 3 seconds faster than it otherwise would be.
A little bit of a scary moon here is, again, you do not have Cappy. Got to get this timer challenge.
Thankfully, this timer's pretty lenient, and we have to wait on the timer because we can't get to the next area without Cappy. So I can kind of take this slow, just do some long jumps, and get my cat back right here. Right when I need it to bounce off of.
Take the time to hit that checkpoint. Again, we're trying to get to a total of 40, so.
Yeah, so since I have to wait for my cap anyway, that's a 0 time one. Pretty much all the checkpoints I get, one of 2 things is true. Either I need to warp to it, or I don't lose any time by grabbing it. Sometimes both.
Yes. Nice use of spin pounds there inside of that metal girder. And getting our second slots moon.
So this one I'm not going to do the spin throw strat for, because it's a little tighter, because there's 4 instead of 3. So it's harder to hit them all with one throw. So we just do that instead.
If only slots was that easy in real life.
Yeah, I know. First try every time.
Right.
Yeah,
Mario's just a god at gambling.
the slots, the moons will always appear as the first thing. So as long as your cap is positioned the right way, then you can get that first try every time.
Picking up the second of our seed moons inside of Metro. Careful not to bonk there, is going to be heading up on top of this building to get a moon that's behind, or I should say underneath, a bunch of garbage. So
We're going to do some rooftop climbing now.
that, I might be wrong, that might be the easiest bunny in the game.
It's one of the easiest ones, but if you miss it, it becomes one of those difficult to catch up to, because it leaps across the buildings, and it's impossible to chase. I hate it. So pay no attention to Mario's angle here. We're just talking to Peach. Nothing weird going on.
Yeah, we're fine here. We're just talking to Peach from a box. Like,
everyone relax.
it's fast. All right, it's the fastest way. Listen, her talk box is really, I mean, it's basically a tire floor underneath the building, so we're just taking advantage of it, all right?
It's like the equivalent of yelling at your neighbor through the ceiling, you know, if you live in an
Right.
apartment building or something. That's all.
Shout out to Banana Bagels.
Yeah. This kingdom's awesome because it is just all the buildings and street signs and stuff are named after things from the Donkey Kong universe.
This is kind of a cheeky moon that they hid inside of this area where after you break a moon block, a lot of these extra little sub-areas get an additional moon in them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the cheeky ones that you find there.
So it might not be too obvious. I've gotten a couple moons like that. In every kingdom, there's 1 or 2 things that have a cap on them with eyes, and they're like, you know, they're from Cappy's native land in Cap
Bonitins.
Kingdom. Yeah, they're Bonitors.
Bonitors.
What you're doing with those moons is you're talking to the Bonitor, and they give you a moon. You're not actually talking to the person. And here's another dog.
So a cool piece of routing here is Kerbis is going to get this dog to start his little scavenger hunt here. Unfortunately, unlike in Sand Kingdom, the first little spot the dog comes to is not going to be the moon. And he will not move to the next spot until you break that little ground pound area open. So grabbing the...
Get the dog in the right spot.
Yeah, the dog got to get him close to this next moon, so now he's going to be heading over to it. So Kerbis taking the time to grab the bird while the dog is digging. And hopefully by the time he gets over there, the dog will be ready, and he is. And a good boy. Such a good boy.
His little hat.
Adorable. I do feel kind of bad because once you get the dog to follow you around, he wants to keep following you. But because there's a fence there, you kind of just leave the dog on the garden, so.
Confined to the park.
Well, the quadra backflip, living dangerously.
That's another moon that's kind of annoying to grab with the camera not looking at it. Tried to land on the scooter. So here's another kind of cool scrap. We got this timer challenge here. We got to ride around, grab the key, get the moon on the other side. But after this, I'm going to just run off the side with the scooter. I'm going to jump off the scooter, let the scooter drop down.
For another moon later.
And I'll grab this moon.
And that's a... Ooh.
My scooter position is weird, but it's fine. Just a little slow. So optimally, you would, land it pretty much right on top of this, and you get a moon for parking the scooter.
And this guy basically was like, man, no one's ever used my rooftop parking spot before, so here you go, have a moon.
Sub area down here. Something you might have noticed is I warp out of sub areas a lot. Some like this one, the second moon you need to grab is really far away from the entrance or exit, so it's good to just warp out rather than traverse your way all the way back. But sometimes it's just better to do that because load zones are pretty slow. So like every kingdom, there's kind of just the way the route works out. There's a number of warps that you want to do just to get around from section to section. And if you can pair those up with exiting out of sub areas, it makes those sub areas just a little bit faster.
Another scary ground pound here as he's going to try to hit this moon in midair while also trying to land on top of one of these street lamps. You got it.
There's a bird right here.
Just to get the bird.
So the bird is another one. It's on a cycle throughout the whole kingdom that resets when you warp. And I kind of looked away from the bird for a while to get it to not move for a little bit, and it would line up right when I was approaching that street lamp. So a lot of camera manipulation. Oh god, I might not make this. Nope.
Ooh. Oh, wow. All right. Nice save there. Not taking the death, but Kerbis going to have to climb back up using these poles. Now you got it.
Yeah, this is just fine.
And coming up here is another cool little sequence break that you can do in this room where the intended thing to do here is you're supposed to kind of jump back and forth between these poles and avoid these bullet bills, but
I just didn't get a cap throw for some reason.
you can actually just get on top of this thing and just roll right across. And again, Nintendo knew you could do that. They put coins up there, so.
Alright, so here's the spot where you could, if you're not paying attention, you could just instinctually moon dump because you're warping to the Odyssey, but we're not ready for that yet. So we got a couple more kingdoms to go through. Just so it happens that the painting is right by the Odyssey as well, so we had to come back here.
And heading off into Lake Kingdom. This chest up here is actually one of the more advanced jump strats that you can get to. You can actually get up to this moon. Nice little cap vault there is really cool way to gain a whole bunch of momentum and cover a lot of ground.
Can we go 3 for 3 on the fishing moons?
He wasn't
he swam
Nope.
away.
I was about to say he wasn't in the really crappy spot where he's swimming into the wall, but
Alright, we can still get a first bite though. Nope.
he actually got it. I heard it.
There was a little fish as well, biting immediately after the big fish, so you got to be wary of that. You got to know which one's which.
cool optimization there, getting the spin throw before touching the big music note to spawn all the small music notes, so that once Cappy came around and hit the big music note, Cappy was able to grab some of the smaller notes before he came back to Mario.
If I timed it a little better, I could have done that in one last spin throw, but that's okay.
Moon Rock for Lake here. Not nearly as many moons as some of the other kingdoms, but
only like 10 or so, but Lake is a pretty small, compact kingdom to begin with, and we're also picking up a lot of the moons that spawned after Peace. So, definitely a worthwhile visit. Pretty good one. Yeah, the small kingdoms tend to be the really valuable ones, just because they are so compact, so all the moons are closer together.
Next Catfish Moon here, we're going to be taking this stack of Goombas over to Goombet.
This one we overkill it. We got the 3 Goombas and we only need 1. But she'll take that.
Yeah, that's fine. And coming up here is actually going to be another sub-area where...
I'm going to go for a really fast cycle in here. If I die, I die, but I'm going for it.
I was about to say that Kerbis is going to be going for a strat here. Very, very fast cycle. If he gets it right, it's almost going to kind of look like...
I already messed it up.
Very dangerous here. You want to be avoiding these poison waves, but what it's going to look like as Kerbis is coming back, it's almost going to look like the waves aren't moving as he's kind of synced up his... Ooh, a little scary there.
I wasn't going to make it. I got like a really weird cap throw instead of a dive at the beginning, so it pretty much is impossible. That's all it takes to throw you off of that cycle, unfortunately.
Frog bounce? Nope, out of position. The frog can sometimes hang out right in front of that moon, so after you pick up the first moon, you can bounce on the frog and then dive over and grab your second moon. I mean, another situation here where Kerbis is going to be picking up this timer challenge moon, and before Cappy even gets back to Mario, he's going to be picking up Peaches right down underneath us. So picking up this moon before Cappy even comes back to us.
And we're going to be way off in the distance before Cappy has a chance to return. Hopefully, if I don't bonk.
You said it. You said the words. They're using that spin pound again. Spin pounds effectively are the same thing as ground pounds, but the cool thing about a spin pound is you can manipulate where Mario's positioning is while in midair, whereas with ground pounds you just jump up and you got to go straight back down with the ground pound. So
yeah, they're faster and flexible in most situations.
Secret room there. Gonna pick up this cheap and do a couple things with this cheap actually. We're gonna head down first towards Captain Toad. And there's actually a moon, actually pretty well hidden inside at the bottom of this very, very deep hole where casually you could easily just never know that this moon is down there.
Yeah, it's just behind where the camera kind of naturally goes. Hidden in plain sight.
Yep. Especially if you come down here and head straight into Captain Toad.
So Captain Toad will be afraid of that cheap, but if you go out of the water into Captain Toad's very realistic bubble here where the water for some reason doesn't come in and just uncapture the cheap, it despawns rather than flopping about.
I think some of the Captain Toad moons are some of my favorite named moons. They're actually named things like, well, how did you get here, Captain Toad? This lady just really wants to see a cheap, so.
Yeah, she's kind of like the snail in Seaside wanted to see Glide on. She just wanted to see a cheap.
Oh, so cute. I think that's actually what she says.
Oh, I got the cap bounce there, so I have to take this flower to get up.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes.
So an interesting dynamic in this game where we're talking about cap bounces and cap refreshes, which is really, really important. You need to get Cappy to refresh your jumps so that you're just not diving into oblivion. There is actually a thing in this game where if you do a frame-perfect jump, you will not get a cap refresh. So avoiding that in some situations is a big deal. This is kind of a small thing you kind of need to pay attention to.
Yeah, because normally you're only allowed to cap bounce once before touching the ground again.
This room's so sexy.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite sub areas.
Not even using the intended strats there. We're supposed to be kind of shimmying along the
little
yellow
ledges,
passages
yeah.
there. Don't even need it. It's definitely one of the sub rooms that when I saw that done the first time, I'm like, that's just really, really cool.
Yeah, a lot of these rooms have stuff like that where you can really just fly through them. You don't have to do a whole lot of the intended stuff. Yeah, that's all there is in Light Kingdom. Short and sweet. A lot of moons. About 6 minutes. And this is going to be the Moon Dump Kingdom. So we got a pretty quick visit here. Like I said, this will be the second of 3 luncheon visits. So we're just going to kind of grab a few things. We're going to bust open the moon rock, grab a few moons, and do our dump, and then we're going to start going to those side kingdoms that don't have paintings in them. And very important, our tourists here. So we need him a couple more times. This will progress him to Moon Kingdom.
And you can see the bunny on the right side of the screen. The bunny has already started to run away from us, but Kerbis is going to try to catch him with a quick dive off the ledge, and a little too short.
This is bad. I need to hit him with the cap. Here, we're going to do this.
Hit him with the cap, and still got to catch up to him.
He's still fast. That's the thing. This one,
There we go.
this one, along with the Metro one, are just the most annoying ones to miss. I just barely missed my dive.
And that just shows, you know, with all of these very specific strats with these bunnies, if you missed, like Kerbis said, he missed that dive by just a small bit, and I mean, basically had to go on a goose chase for that bunny. Cool thing here, he manipulated his camera there to make sure this lava bubble didn't spawn before he grabbed that moon, so that the second the lava bubble comes out of the water, he can capture him and take him on over to this moon rock.
There's a kind of interesting theoretical route for Luncheon Kingdom where you can jump from the painting moon directly down to this moon rock. It's a really difficult jump, extremely tight, but if you were able to do it consistently, you could reroute the kingdom to be a little faster, we think at least. Nobody's taken the time to actually kind of come up with the route for it because it's such an insanely hard jump that nobody's gonna do it like in a 3-hour speed run, you know?
Another cool optimized room here, the Forks room.
So this is the music I was talking about as well. Best song in the game.
I can dig it. I can dig the violin.
A roll boost off the railing there.
Swag.
All right, this is a cool section right here. You know, again, warp to a high point. We do this a lot of kingdoms. Just allows you to drop down on this stuff, which is pretty fast, generally. So there's a moon right here. There's a moon right here.
Yeah.
And then I can just spin pound down onto this moon. And then I can spin pound down again. Over to this timer challenge, and I'm going to try to do a cool jump to get over to that Captain Toad from the timer challenge after I collect the moon. If you time things right, because remember, you don't have Cappy here, so you can't cap bounce until Cappy comes back. But if you time things right, the timer challenge will expire as you're jumping towards Captain Toad, and you can get your hat back right in time. And make it over here. No damage. You're supposed to grab a lava bubble and take a cannon that shoots you over here. That's how you're supposed to get to this little island, but it's much faster. And that was our last moon before the best part of the run, moon dump time.
Take a nice little break, a little stretch.
Yeah, it's about 30 seconds or
Yeah,
something.
you guys can go grab some water if you want, but we got a nice moon dump here for us, so.
And while we're moon dumping, I'd like to go ahead and remind everyone that even though we're at the end of the marathon here, you can still get those donations in. You can still get registered for prizes. You can still let us know what you want to see at future Speed Gaming Live events here. So get those in. If you leave a comment, I'll read it on stream.
Perfect timing. And the balloon inflation. Beautiful.
All right, so 101 moons left.
And remember, 31 of those are the achievement moons. So
Right.
really, we've got 70 moons to go collect. 399 is the correct count for my route.
Right here, what we're unlocking is the dark side of the moon. You get that for getting 250 pyrims. We will
Yep.
not be going there.
Nope, very slow. We don't want any part of it.
And it's interesting because the dark side of the moon, when you first go there, as we are returning to Cap Kingdom, it's basically a boss rush where you fight all of the Brutals again. But the problem is after that, it spits out a whole bunch of more hint arts, which you would think like, oh man, well, hint arts are really, really fast, but the boss fights are way too slow. Very scary jump here.
I was too far. It's okay, we'll get it.
Go for it again. And Kerbis is trying to get a long jump off of the top of that skull and crossbones sign.
Oh, got redirected a little bit, but that's okay. We can still make it.
A little scary. You got shot off to the left. I'm like, ooh, well, he might not make it.
That's pretty lenient, thankfully. As long as you get the long jump off of the sign, you're pretty much good to go. And this right here, these Paragoombas, I hate them because for whatever reason, they require like much more vigorous shaking to get them to actually do what they're supposed to do with the motion controls compared to other captures. And you fly around with them for longer stretches of time, so I'm just sitting here like violently shaking, more so than I would have to do anywhere else in the run.
Landing on that sign to reset his max altitude so that he could fly over here and scare yet another person that's guarding this moon with their life, unless a Goomba shows up.
Similar to the Gushins, the max height you can fly is based on kind of where you took off, the height you took off from.
Grabbing this key in midair. He can make it back over.
Sometimes the fog is higher up, and it looks like you're literally just jumping into the fog. Not the case there.
Next shopping moon here. This one in Cap Kingdom, and gonna be some pretty interesting moons you're gonna be picking up here. Another one of those kind of like suicide dive, ground pound on a thin railing and jump into the abyss type of moons we'll see here in a little bit.
And we get our best song again.
Left side.
Yeah, of course.
I meant for the coins.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, always.
always. What do you think I am?
If you don't do it, the run's invalid.
It's like hitting the sheep.
That's right. Gotta go for left side here. Gotta go for the thinner path there. Gotta get the coins. The coins are important.
They are a little important. Without any coins from the sub area, I just barely had enough for the rest of the run. So
Right.
They're the good insurance.
They're important.
It's kind of the last big chunk of coins that I can get without losing time.
So you remember way back when we first started in the first 2 minutes of the run, that was the first checkpoint we touched, and we are 2 hours and 47 minutes later, and here we are.
And it was very important because there's a bunch of moons up here that are pretty quick.
That's right.
Otherwise, you would have to climb through the whole tower again. And there are no moons inside the tower. All that's in there is some purple coins, which we don't have to get any purple coins for this run. There's nothing fast that they can do.
And here's that moon I was talking about. Looks to be good. Get a little bit extra insurance there for the cappy bounce just to make sure you're going to land on top of it.
If you get a good angle, you can vector straight into that one without a cap bounce, but I was a little off-center there.
You're intended to actually take one of those Paragoombas over there, but way faster to just dive at it.
Yeah, and like I've mentioned a few times, death warps are pretty fast,
Yes.
so puts us back on that high vantage point. We can just drop straight down into this timer challenge and get back to the kind of the main portion of the kingdom. Finish off what we need to get here. And we're also on a bird cycle ever since the death warp. This one's a kind of long bird cycle, like the one in Wooded.
That's kind of an obscure hint art that maybe when you were first going through this game casually, if you did that, you may not think like, man, that looks very, very strange. And you might actually get all the way through the game and still not have an idea of what that hint art might be referring to, but Kerbis will give you the tutorial here live on stream.
Yeah, we'll get there pretty soon.
Good height there on that recovery to get back up. Gonna spin this hat, get a moon. Again, they had to fit 880 into this game, so there's some...
I think that's a pretty clever one.
Yeah, it is. Now this one's pretty cool because you're in Cap Kingdom, but you see the star popping out again. The star is...
What are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm sorry.
What's a star?
Forget I said anything. You should still be good.
Yeah. I was pretty far ahead there. Optimally, I can let this bird fly further and collect it before I collect that moon over on that post, because it'll fly towards that one, but... Which I might have gone for if I didn't kind of stutter there, but since I made a little mistake, then it's better to just get it where I got it.
Another note moon again. A lot of these moons that you're seeing, you might not think, man, that moon feels a little slow. Again, a lot of these moons are being routed into those Toadette moon the achievement moons that we're going to be getting here. I'm going to say in about the next 10 or 15 minutes. So
We just got a bunny to collect here, right at the beginning.
another one of these dreaded bunny moons. That one you could just roll right up into. So
Yeah, when you roll into bunnies, you want to roll where they're gonna be, not where they are. So there you want to kind of go off to the right a little bit. You just got to know where they're gonna run, which is consistent as long as you approach them the same way every time.
no more significant moon dumps.
Yeah, we
this
just
is-
gotta unfortunately do the mini one. Well, we get a
Yep.
kind of a big one at the end. It's like 61 moons.
Yeah, coming out of Luncheon 3 out of Mushroom after
Yep.
all the Toadette achievement moons.
Exactly. It's like a mini moon dump. But outside of that, we just got our normal kingdom by kingdom visits. Moon Kingdom will only get like 5 moons. And this is the hardest, maybe the most punishing kingdom in the run.
Absolutely. Brought it up earlier when Kerbis was here. Initially for Lost 1. Lost 1 and Lost 2 are definitely two of the scariest areas just because of the... I mean, death is everywhere. All of that purple liquid. There's a lot of really tight jumps. Some moons that are hanging precariously.
Yeah, the number of Darker Side runs that I've seen just lose a minute plus here is insane. Because not only is there a lot of opportunities to die, but when you die, you lose a lot of time, for the most part. I'm actually going to probably grab a safety checkpoint to make potential time loss from a death much lower. Only
Smart.
costs me a couple seconds to grab the checkpoint.
First we gotta go bust open that moon rock though.
Yeah, so because you don't grab any checkpoints in this visit normally, anytime you die, you get spawned back here, which is like in a really awkward corner of the kingdom, not really near anything else. So jump over death gap number 1.
Want to be careful there to position Mario in a place where that guy will actually blow up those 2 rocks but not damage Mario. Don't want to give up that free 2.5 seconds when you take damage. Here's a scary part.
Well, this is where I'm going to grab the
Oh, you're
checkpoint.
grabbing the checkpoint here? Okay.
And then I'll kind of do things in a bit of a different order. Oh, God.
Ooh.
So normally I would do this moon after the moon I'm about to collect, so just do these a little out of order because of grabbing the checkpoint.
Get in there.
It's precarious. I almost died for playing it safe, but if I died, I would be back at that checkpoint instead of back at the moon rock, so much closer to the rest of the kingdom and all the other moons I have to grab.
And this is some of that dangerous platforming that you got to do here in Lost. Picking up these moon shards on these very small little tree stumps. You miss one of these dives and you are dead. That's a hint art moon as well. That one from Snow Kingdom. Getting the moons here in some of these smaller kingdoms are just your basic yellow color, so also why you haven't seen any of the...
It's kind of weird how the moons from Lost Kingdom and Mushroom Kingdom are the same color.
I know, isn't it weird?
There's like no distinguishing feature.
Not at all. Now, sort of a deviation in strats here that you could be doing. These notes that Kerbis is picking up, you can pick those up the way you just saw him do it with those spin throws, but you can also grab that little centipede guy over there and just stretch across. I'm actually just getting this bunny a little easier, but we got to kind of wait out where this bunny's going to hop to.
He's being smart. Get over it.
There we go. I'm not sure if you may know this, Kerbis. Has anybody tried to get as many moons to spawn at the same time but not pick them up?
I don't know. I'm sure somebody probably has.
I would love to know what happens to this game's frame rate if you try to get as many moons on screen at the same time.
I'm sure it would hurt it. I'm trying to think of a good place where you could actually do that, though. There's typically not many places where you can get more than like maybe 3 or 4 moons on screen together in close enough proximity. There might be some places, though. I'm gonna grab an extra moon while this timer challenge is running. The only challenge here is to not bonk into Uncle Amiibo. That's that guy, little silver guy.
Uncle Amiibo.
That's also his real name. I didn't make that up either.
It's in the game manual. This is Uncle Amiibo. Bouncing on that globe is just kind of a cute thing that you can do as you wait for Cappy to get back, because you basically can't do anything until that, so.
Plays a little song for you.
Yeah.
Alright, now to Moon Kingdom for just our quick little 5-moon visit.
Yeah, these are 5 of the quickest moons. They're very close together, actually, and
Yeah, just how close these are together is the only reason coming to Moon Kingdom is worth it, because you might think 5 moons, big deal. It's like totally not worth all the cutscenes and stuff, but we get 5 moons here, and then also progresses the tourist to the Mushroom Kingdom, so we kind of get 6 moons out of it.
And this little cutscene that you just saw Cappy do, where he was showing you, here's the finale of our little side quest here with our friend from the Sand Kingdom. After this moon, he goes back to the Sand Kingdom.
One more.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. One more. No, I'm sorry. Mushroom Kingdom is the final one. Then he goes home to the Sand Kingdom. That's the hint art from the Cap Kingdom that we just grabbed a little bit ago. And Captain Toad's just conveniently standing right here, so get that moon as well.
Toad's always on the outer reaches.
Rule number 1 in Moon Kingdom when you're running this game, don't miss a jump.
Yeah, because it takes forever to land.
Yeah,
if you...
it feels like it takes forever to come back down to the ground.
Yeah, I can't stand the Moon Kingdom physics.
And just like that, we're out of Moon Kingdom.
Yep, that's all we needed. Just a little quick loop around right by the Odyssey. They're all right there. And we don't ever have to come back here.
Well, technically we do.
Well, you know, the other side of it. All right, now back to luncheon. We'll finish off everything we want to collect here and take the painting to Mushrooms. So the only Odyssey visit, or the only Odyssey trip we'll take is to the actual darker side. We're getting close.
We are getting close. We're nearing that 3-hour mark, so we're about 15 seconds away. So nearing the home stretch of this run. Early salt strat there. I love that strat.
Oh. Don't want to go down there yet.
No, 15 seconds from 3 hours. 15 minutes from the ultimate finale here. More lava bubble shenanigans here. Ooh, I like that strat there. Dropping him off, not taking the cannon.
You can actually do a jump to leave that lava bubble there and recapture it, but it's kind of tight, so I just take this. And doing it that way is like just barely faster than the cannon, but I find it a lot easier. Because landing in the cannons can be a little weird sometimes. It's easy to miss.
I'll grab this fire bro. Just own that spiny. He was harmless, man.
All right, we're coming up on another of my favorite parts of the run that we talked about earlier.
Corn boost.
All right.
That was not corn boost. It people think like, that didn't look anything like corn. That was not intended. Here we go. Here's the piece of corn. And corn boost. Goombet likes what she sees. She likes our swag. She was impressed. Gonna use this fork to flick our way over to that moon there. Super optimal there to use that fork instead of just traditional movement over. Another timer challenge here.
Yeah, flinging off the forks is really fast. So if you can get it in a good angle, it's really good to do. All right.
You gonna give it to him?
This moon coming up here. There's a couple different songs you can play. You need just music from a scary monster. So we get to listen to the music that plays when you capture Bowser.
There we go.
It is one input slower than playing the dinosaur music, but far superior. So we'll take the frames time loss.
I actually think in the route, it tells you to play that song.
It does, because I made it that way. And we get to listen to this for the rest of the kingdom.
We do. Up until the final 8-bit section.
I don't do that moon.
Oh, you
That's a Spike Vegeta special
All right.
replacement moon. That's the good thing. There are a lot of moons that are around that 21-second range that just aren't quite fast enough, but you could still reasonably replace them if there's a moon you really don't like. Just replace it with something that you do like, and you're not really going to lose much time over it, maybe a second. The only thing you have to be careful of when doing that is to not mess up an achievement moon, because if you replace a moon that just barely gets you to an achievement, then you have to replace 2 moons. Which would be still not terribly slow, but a little bit slower. You might wind up having to add in a moon that you don't like anyway.
It's the benefit of having a game that has 880 of these power moons. We're still not collecting 330 of these things, so. But again, if that sounds like something you would love to do, there's plenty of previous runs that you can check out in that category. That is the All Moons category, or All Unique Moons
Best
category.
Peach.
There's the overall Peach. Such a bop.
Probably second favorite song in the game, behind the sub-area music. Definitely better than Jump Up Superstar, though.
Oof, man, get some hot takes here. Better than Jump Up Superstar? I'm not sure. 2 quick long jumps. And over again, these are mostly the last couple of moons, last traditional moons we're going to be picking up in a kingdom until we get back to the Mushroom Kingdom. A couple more cleanup moons there, and then we will be playing my favorite minigame here in Mario Odyssey. We'll get to that when we get there in Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, you're 3 hours into a run. You got to get something to take your mind off of all the routing, and hopefully I didn't mess any achievement moons up.
It's the most thrilling part of the run, too. It's a fun time. All right, this moon legitimately is one of the hardest in the run.
Yes.
Not to get the moon, but just to do it optimally. Try to spin pound as much as possible, but if you don't have the right angles, then everything kind of gets thrown off course. But that's okay. That means really hard. Just grinding out this absolutely optimal clip of that would take hours for even the best runners. Oh.
All right, and we are heading back to Mushroom Kingdom.
This is Yoshi's house.
It is. Yoshi's little chimney here. He has a moon. That is a moon. The game just told you. It's a moon.
And just a little roundup here. So since I did all of those moons first visit, this is going to be pretty quick. The thing that's going to take up the majority of the time here, oh, I mashed through that menu. The only thing that's going to take up the majority of the time is Toadette achievements.
This one's basically, you got to play an 8-bit song.
Yeah. So this is another kind of small optimization. We used to get this first mushroom visit before entering the painting, but we realized if we do this now, by this time we've unlocked the Cascade 8-bit music, which is the 3rd selection on the list, whereas before we were using the 8th song on the list. So just, you know, fractions of a second to scroll.
And now, buddy, now you can go home. Head on back to Sand Kingdom.
And you say I have 36 extra coins.
Yeah, that's how tight the coin routing in this category is.
And I
36 to spare.
I did die a couple times that like were unintended, so
Yes.
that's 10 coins each. Every time you die, you lose. So I was probably 50 or 60 ahead of schedule, but I have it kind of routed out to that point where I usually wind up somewhere less than 100 extra coins. It works out pretty nicely.
Final. And of course, it's going to give you a little bit of a hard time. The final bunny moon.
In those 2 seeds.
You also hear the music a little different here. Kind of a throwback to, as this entire area is, throwback to Super Mario 64. And we'll be picking up our last regular moon, which is, again, another reference to 64.
We got the tiles here as well.
Yep, getting tiles.
This is another cool moon. One done really fast.
Pick that moon up in the middle of doing tiles.
Yeah, I had to let it spawn. It's another one that takes a little while to fly in. And here we go. If you want to play a game, play rock, paper, scissors with Mario. He will throw up one of the 3 every time he collects a moon here.
Rock.
So we've got 31 of them.
Dang it.
Mario, pick paper.
Play along, chat.
And the other thing I can do here, I've done it a couple times in this run. Haven't pointed out yet. When you talk to NPCs, a lot of
Rock.
times...
Yeah.
A lot of times you can go into first-person mode, and it prevents this little camera pan.
Rock. Dang it. Going with
And
rock every time.
that camera pan saves time. Or not having that camera pan saves time.
Rock. Yeah. We're playing rock, paper, scissors. I'm beating Mario. See, that would have not lost. I would have lost that time.
You just a rock every time kind of guy?
Paper.
Okay.
Ha! There we go.
Mixing
I
it
read
up.
him like a book. I knew he was going to throw rock. Scissors. All right. All right. We're on the same wavelength. Me and Mario are thinking alike. Scissors again. Oh, okay. All right. Kerbis, you're next.
Paper.
You're a loser. Rock! Damn it.
We're both losers.
We are. Shoot. I didn't say anything that time. I was too busy thinking about what I wanted to say.
Hey, a nothing answer is a loser answer.
Paper. Yeah, all right. I'm batting over 500.
Are you?
Scissors. I think I am. I'm not anymore. Scissors again. Damn.
I guess I should pay attention how many moons we have. We got 45, so we got 16 more to go.
Paper.
Halfway through the Toadette moons.
Rock? All right. Went away from my strat where I just say rock over and over again. I wouldn't have won that time. Scissors. All right. How unfortunate was it that when they found out this trick where you can't just sit here and mash A after a 3-hour run, like you still have to do a little bit of tech.
Yeah, you have to time it. If you mash A, you'll jump instead of talking because, like I said, you're not able to talk to the NPC right away. That's what going into first person does. It makes you able to talk to Toadette sooner and stops the camera pan. So,
Paper. Yeah. Let's go.
yeah, if you're just mashing A here, you're gonna jump and you're never gonna talk to her. So you actually do have to pay attention to this for like 4 minutes, but you just talk to her over and over again.
Paper. All right, you're slick. Scissors.
All right, only 4 more to go. Make them count.
All right, we're going rock all 4 times. Rock. All right,
All right.
that's 1. I need 4 scissors from Mario. Clean sweep. Rock. That's 2. Oh, if I get this. Rock again. No! Dang it. Oh. All right, we're sticking with it. Rock.
All right, last one. This is moon number 500. End on a tie.
I finish a loser. But that is Moon 500, so the run is not over. We still have to go to the darker side and beat it.
Yeah, so the run ends when I get that final multi-moon, so it's actually a 503 moon run. That's what it winds up being. There it is, 500.
Little mini moon dump.
All right, so darker side unlocking. We can go there, and we will go there,
And we will beat it.
and we will beat it.
So a cool thing about darker side is Kerbis is going to be going to beat it. Originally in the initial route, there was a glitch where you can actually get this frog that you're going to see Kerbis capturing at the early portion of darker side, where you can actually take the frog and do what was called frog skip. And basically take the frog and fly all the way over to where basically you come out of the little darker side, little mini dungeon area. And it made this area
Anticlimactic.
Yeah,
to
it's
say the
very,
least.
very anticlimactic because
Yeah, basically all you would do is capture the frog after bouncing on its head while it's descending. And that would put it in this state where it thought it was in the water, so you could just swim in midair and swim across that gap that you saw to get to the end rather than going through this whole dungeon. But that was patched in version 1.2, and in version 1.3, load times were improved so drastically that over the course of, we don't know exactly if doing no frog skip on 1.3 or frog skip on 1.0 is faster, but they are close. It's close enough that nobody wants to bother doing frog skip.
Yeah. I was going to say, we went through this entire run and didn't mention the fact that, yeah, so this game was helped drastically by the 1.3 update that made load times 1.5 times faster. And you might not think that that's a long time, but the amount of load screens that you actually get in this game, especially your category this long like Darker Side, it is a massive time save.
My PB before 1.3 was a high 319, and my first PB I got on 1.3 was my current PB with 315.21.
Yeah.
So it was better quality than my old PB, but not by 4 minutes. It was probably about a minute better. So
Yeah.
we estimate the load save like 3 minutes over the old version.
Using this up route to get up here. Again, another thing that Nintendo did intend you to potentially do, but with those coins being up there.
And we finally get to see Yoshi, my good friend.
There we go. Finally get the capture of Yoshi.
Yoshi capture low-key kind of sucks though.
Yeah, they didn't really
Not
take
very-
full advantage of being able to use Yoshi in this game. So
Definitely not. And going back and forth like this is faster, actually. Like, you climb this faster because every time Yoshi clicks across, it gains height.
So as you can see, Darker Side's kind of combining some of the elements that you've seen in the other kingdoms. We're getting a flower road here, which is what we saw in Wooded Kingdom. See a Sphinx over there.
You can answer a bunch of questions, and he'll give you a extremely large stack of coins if you get them all right. But if you get any of them wrong, you can't try again until you re-enter the dungeon. So you have to do the dungeon up to this point again to get a second chance. It's a stressful time in all Moons runs because they want all the coins they can get in that category. So if they mess up a Sphinx question just by misinputting, then it's not a fun time. They just got to eat that coin loss pretty much.
Another not necessarily intended shortcut that you can do there. You're supposed to.
So we did mention earlier that if you shake with Glide On, you maintain more height.
Oh yeah, this part.
You can do it. If you enter this whirlwind and start shaking, you'll go up really high, and this is plenty of height. As long as I stay shaking and I avoid this little invisible barrier, and you see the little guy flying off in the distance, that's my favorite part of this. he thought he was coming at you, but since you went up into the whirlwind, yeah, no, he just he poofs. But yeah, as long as you shake and avoid this invisible barrier, if you're too close to the center, you'll automatically get exit out of the capture. That's kind of, I guess, Nintendo's way of trying to prevent exactly what I'm doing right now. But if you just avoid the barrier, you can fly all the way around this and avoid two pretty big sections of the dungeon. So we can't skip the whole thing, but we can skip a good portion of it. And we let Glide On live because he is a good boy. And this, coming up here is the final boss. And the final boss is the letter U.
Indeed. Nice little cool thing the devs threw in here, this thank you.
So here we go.
And the letter U goes down.
All right, so just in case you didn't get a good view, thank you.
There we go.
Because this is the kind of the final challenge of the game. That's what it's intended to be, so. And then Cappy gives a nice little emotional speech about all of the fun times he and Mario have had together as you climb the tower. And time will be when I get to the top of the tower and collect the multi-moon, as soon as I touch the multi-moon. So it's a replica of the New Donk City Hall. Cappy's giving his speech. Says something along the lines of, remember all the hats or something, I don't remember.
Yeah,
it's very touching.
It is. It's very cute. And second he touches the multi-moon, it will be time. 3:18:30.
That's pretty much what I expected. I've been getting a lot of 3:18s in practice runs, so I'm very happy with that. It's like an average run for me.
Very, very nice, Kerbis. Well done. 3:18:30, and that was Super Mario Odyssey Darker Side.
Yeah, my favorite speedrun category of any game. I encourage everyone to try this game as a speedrun, either any percent or this category, if you are into the longer things. But yeah, thanks SpeedGaming Live for having me. I always love showing this category off. So thank you, Kuiper, and the long gone Spike Vegeta for helping me on the commentary.
He's been asleep for the last maybe hour.
He's knocked out on a plane by now. But
yep.
yeah, thank you, everyone. That's going to be it for me.
Thank you so much, everyone.